And what's going on, everybody? How are we doing? A little bit earlier on a Tuesday. In fact, guys, if you think about this for a second, right? In about a month plus time, we could be doing this podcast as a watch along with WWE Raw on Netflix. How crazy would that be?
Bro, it's crazy. I mean, we literally just the ending of Raw. I'm not sure whether you're able to catch it. But like, man, the year might be ending, but like, if you're a wrestling fan, the fun is just about to begin. That's all I can see.
This is a time period where the WWE starts ramping up to WrestleMania, and Triple H has been absolutely cooking. But before we do anything, of course, as usual, we have to say hello. It's Mr. Young.
And it's foreign in the building, bro. It's our season 7 finale. How crazy is that, bro? 7 seasons, bro.
I know, and here we are at episode 43, coming on a very exciting way to wrap up the season. In fact, this upcoming Sunday, we have our big event that we'll talk about in just a little while. But as always, want to say hello to everybody in chat. Lincoln, it's good to see you. Rishi, alamak, look at y'all coming in early. Even though we started early, you're here, and we appreciate that, you guys.
You guys, bro. First of all, Rishi, it's been a while. Miss you, bro. I DM you, bro. Are you gonna get tickets? Are you gonna get tickets to our event?
Foreign be sliding into DMs and everything. Yes, our big year-end finale show, live podcast, Singapore Wrestler Top 20. You know, we're doing so many things. We give out all our Kick to the Gut awards as well. Best feud, best this, that, and the other thing. All the best, lah, bag. We the best.
We the best music, bro.
Certain rappers. Is that DJ Khalid, by the way?
Yes, that's DJ Khalid. Unfortunately, we are. Huh? We are name dropping DJ Khalid at the start of the show. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, by the way, you heard that voice, right? That is the voice of the chest.
The chest, the big silver chest of the silverback. What's up?
How you doing, Babu?
What's good, guys?
Oh, yes.
Are you gate crashing our podcast like how Ed Sheeran gate crashed our interview with the new Manchester United? That's a very deep cut.
What?
Manchester United's manager, he's the new manager. He just had his first interview over the weekend, and he fought against Man U fought against Ipswich City. So Ipswich Town, I believe. Yeah. Ipswich Town is like this, like basically it's like a very low club, right?
Sure.
But its biggest fan and its main stakeholder is Ed Sheeran, bro.
Bro, either Prabhu is very excited by that or he's frozen.
I think he's frozen.
Look at that smile. At least, you know, whenever we freeze, our face is all effed up like, Prabhu freeze and look at him smiling away.
Bro, okay. Never mind. We'll keep him there. I think he has a very handsome bearded face. Let his face freeze for a while. Sure. But the point I'm trying to make is like, it's great to see Rishi. I think we haven't heard from him on the podcast for a while, and Lincoln as well.
Nice I think we lost our boy.
No, bro. Bro, does this bring you back to the times of season 4 and season 3 where I have my awesome internet connection?
Yes. Now the big problem here is our panels are all messed up because we lost Prabhu, unfortunately. But okay, we will truck on. We will carry on.
Okay. Do you need to remanage your arrangement of your layout?
Well, I mean, we are hoping that he will rejoin us, no?
Yes, let's hope as well. Is it because of the construction, bro? If it's the construction again, it's gonna be an issue, bro. It might take some time.
Construction, bro, they accidentally cut his internet wire lah.
Ayo. Is it SPD or is it somebody who doesn't like Showtime?
Ooh.
Trying to screw with them?
Hey, Siala, this one got storyline ramifications, kayfabe ramifications. Okay, hang on. Let me fix this while we talk about our good friend and sponsor of the podcast.
Yes. Okay, let me do the sponsor shout out. Okay, there you go. Hasif, what's up? Our sponsor for the last quarter of 2024. We would love to thank him for his support in the last couple of months. If you guys have been to the SPW shows, you might have seen him, and he has let me know that he will be there this Sunday at Grapple Max for our Kick to the Gut Awards / Singapore Wrestler Top 20 reveal. If you guys are looking to review your financial portfolio, he is the man to see. He also does this very, very fun series called Tay with Hasif, where he brings you out for Tay and you guys can talk about anything under the sun, from fitness, entrepreneurship, building your small business, and more. So, perfect guy. And as well, he is the perfect fit for our community, and he loves to support people building their own communities as well.
Absolutely. And if you haven't already, do us a favor, drop him a follow on social media. His Instagram is Hasif_captures. All right, we just got an update from our silverback, our objective silverback. This is kind of crazy, and I don't know if this is just the cherry on the top of the cake. You know what this is not?
What is it, bro?
He teasing us, bro. Every time we get him on the show, something will happen. Like it's like, you know, on Raw or SmackDown when they tease something happening, but it doesn't happen, so you have to watch next episode.
Ayo, bro, there's no more next episode, bro. After this, we're going on a 2-month break, bro.
Also, what happens is internet down. Somehow he's lost internet connection altogether. That's crazy.
I see. You know what it is, bro? You know what it is? It's living in Jurong, bro. East side for life. What's up?
Rishi says must be Tony Khan messing around with the system. Oh, bro, he knew. He knew
He knew from seeing your thumbnail, bro.
Oh my god, it's the thumbnail! That's exactly what it is. Okay, originally we wanted to have Prabhu here on the show to chat with us about Ring of Rebirth. He was at the show, and we can't wait to get his review. We'll see how, like, if we really cannot get him, I do believe we have a written review. We can talk a little bit about it a little bit later on in the show. But
for
since
sure.
He's not here right now, he's trying to fix his internet. Let's dive straight into the into the deep end, shall we?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we will reorganize our priorities, right? Since it's season 7, let's get all the lowlights out of the way so we can talk about the fun stuff. So, okay, can I preface this by saying, I think you should tell all the listeners, right? Like when we were doing up the thumbnail, you sent it to me, right? And then you were asking, is this rude?
you know, here's the thing. I can't help it anymore. Like, I've tried, bro. I don't know if you know this or realize this, right? But I try to be as objective as possible when watching AEW because I know I can come across quite harsh. And I know some of you enjoy me talking shit about it, which is fun, right? It kind of builds upon itself. But sometimes I do have reflective moments. You know, I have deep thoughts, just like a certain cowboy in AEW. Once in a while, I have deep thoughts and I ask myself, Mr. Are you just being mean for the sake of being mean, right?
Bro, it's okay, bro. You don't have deep thoughts, bro. Unlike the Hangman, right?
Wait, hold on. Are you saying I'm shallow? Did you call me shallow?
Bro, wait for my point, bro. I'm saying you're not necessarily not having deep thoughts about AEW. I'm just saying that unlike Hangman, who has jumped off the deep end, I feel like your criticism, while passionate, I still feel it's warranted. But definitely the bias is there. But I do feel some of the things that I think a lot of people are thinking it.
Excuse me, bias? What bias? It's objective, right in front of my eyes. Tell me when I'm telling lies. Okay. You remember what was the one in London they did? I enjoyed it, right? It felt good.
All in at Wembley. Yeah.
And then the next one, it was kind of flat. I don't even remember what that was really because it happened like 2 weeks right after, so they had no time to build, right?
All out, yeah. Oh my god. Okay, wait. Before Lincoln says, I'm just here for the AEW reviews from you guys. I didn't watch it. Do you see I put out a poll? I said like, are you guys going to be watching Full Gear? Yes, no, or just waiting for a review? You guess which one had the highest percentage, bro?
Just waiting for a review.
Yes.
Oh god. See, here's the thing, right? And I've said this over and over and over again, and some people just don't want to hear it because it offends their favorite pro wrestling promotion or whatever it is. But because of the way that they've been building their weekly television, there is no... It generates no buzz to want to watch the pay-per-views, right? They are selling pay-per-views, and this is a plus to them. They are selling pay-per-views solely based on the dream match premise. That's really all it is at this point, you know. And the fact that they can still sell well in arenas for pay-per-views is kudos to them. They are doing very well as an indie promotion, but as a week on week, let's watch the show. There's none of it, and like. I don't know if it's just come to a boiling point where enough is just enough. Like watching Full Gear, I felt like I wasted my money. I paid for it. Okay, I bought it on Triller, right? But more importantly, I felt like I wasted my time. And you can only insult your viewers so many times until it gets to a point where people just like, what's the point? You're just insulting my intelligence. There's no payoff. Everything just feels like, okay, let's do it for the sake of doing, and it has no ramifications whatsoever down the line.
Yeah. When I watch like a AEW pay-per-view, right, I make a point to listen to the press crowd after the fact.
Oh God.
Well, not because like, you know, I just want to subject myself to more AEW content. But sometimes like if I watch a pay-per-view, I just want to see how they justify the pay-per-view. Yeah. You know, I want to see like what Tony Khan says, blah, blah, blah. And I think some of the questions that the journalist has given,
Hold
have
on.
started.
Journalist. Carry on.
Because bro, some of them was like, "Oh, I'm from the toy collector podcast," and all that
Yeah.
kind of nonsense. We gotta talk about MVP's responses to that
Oh,
if you watched it. So
I
that was
did.
hilarious. Yeah, okay,
I
but the point,
I
yeah,
watched the whole press conference because of the MVP clips.
you see, that's why he's a draw. He makes you
Yes.
want to watch, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
but the point is, right? Yeah. So I want to see how they justify, because like really like they can't justify some of the content that they're putting out recently. And it's not even the matches, right? I will
Mm.
not even comment about like, okay, I have some comments about the matches. Some of them
Yeah.
didn't make sense, but it's not even the in-ring work. It's just everything that leads to make people want to even see the match. If
Correct.
you can't even get people from getting invested,
Mm.
curious, and then finally, okay, I'm gonna pay money to like see this match, then you miss out on the point of the match being a great match because nobody's gonna see it, right?
Exactly. The only
Yeah.
reason I watched this was because I know we were gonna talk about it, and to be
Yeah.
very frank with you guys, it's like I said, like it's that. It's that toxic relationship where you know it's going nowhere. They're not doing anything to make themselves better, but I'm bound by, reasons, i.e. this show, to actually consume this product. And I feel like I'm wasting my time. And not because, once again, to your point, not because the wrestling is bad or I don't like the people. I think they're doing the best they can in the worst situation whatsoever. And everybody is leaning into their worst tendencies at this point. From top to bottom, everybody is leaning into their worst tendencies.
Yeah. Again, like you talk about like an indie promotion, right?
Mm.
The reason why you can get an enjoyment out of it is because you only see it once every few months, right?
Yes.
You don't watch an indie promotion every week,
Yeah.
right?
Yep,
So
yep.
that's why, like, if AEW stuck to their quarterly pay-per-views,
Yeah,
to
that's
be
fine.
really, really honest,
Mm.
if I don't follow up the product and then like suddenly I just catch one time Full Gear after like 3 months of not seeing AEW,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, great matches, I can feel for it.
Okay, so here's the thing though. Even on this Full Gear, I feel like even if I watch this with no prior viewing for the past 2-3 months, right?
Yep.
I don't think this is the pay-per-view that does it or makes me a fan. Because there was a lot of nonsense happening that doesn't make sense. And hey, what's up? How you doing, Jason? The live audience was dead because the product is not cool. There's no two ways about it. You cannot blame the audience for not caring because they've done nothing to make you emotionally involved. And it's in New York. Exactly. The loudest, most passionate mofos. They were all sitting on their hands most of the time anyway.
Yeah. So the thing is, I would like to say is like you can, acknowledge that you guys have issues, right? And I know AEW, I think to a certain extent have acknowledged it because apparently they announced their winter schedule and they're doing way smaller arenas like going forward into the new year.
Yeah.
That's great, okay?
That's great, yeah.
Get their 3,000 people, pack it in like a smaller arena. It will sound good. Make them sound loud. I think the atmosphere really is important, and they can't delude themselves into thinking like I'm gonna sell out these basketball arenas at this point because the product doesn't warrant it. If the product is good and hot again, things set on fire, go sell out, Staples Center or whatever it is.
Yep.
But right now, I think they need to acknowledge this.
Oh yeah, for sure. And not, basically half copium and be like, oh, let's do the big arenas. I totally get it. And there's nothing wrong with it. TNA does very well with the audience that they have. The show still looks like a lively, vibrant show, but at the end of the day, it's the booking. Let's talk about it. Okay, so I didn't watch any of the pre-show because I'm not going to subject myself to more of this crap. But I did see the Boom Boom AJ beat Cutie Marshall. You know what? I actually am not offended by any of this because this is not Logan Paul level. They're trying, but it's still mainstream attention and it's on the pre-show. So I'm fine with that, actually. I'm very fine with that.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I know these guys from TikTok.
Yeah.
So like to me, like okay, this level of celebrity as a pre-show doesn't affect main storylines. Yeah, it's fine. And bro, the Rizzler is a bigger draw than a lot of the
AEW stars, yes, which is quite sad, but it is what it is,
Yeah. So okay, I didn't watch a lot of the things from the AEW pre-show, but what's your thoughts on the November Rain usage for their hype package? Do you know about this?
Oh no, I did not. They bought the rights obviously to the song. Wait, so they use what hype package? As in the before the show starts, the hype package?
Yeah, essentially they got Guns N' Roses. Apparently Tony Khan is very proud of this fact that we were the only company that paid Guns N' Roses to license their music to play it for and in perpetuity for their hype package for November Rain, for Full Gear essentially.
I want to know how much they paid.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Why are you proud that you spend a shit ton of money? That's not anything to be proud of. If you
I
say
guess
that you managed to talk them into a very cheap deal, then okay, you should be proud of that. But this is not. He essentially said, "Oh, we paid money and we got them to give us the rights to use that song in perpetuity."
yeah lah. Basically,
What's there to be proud of? You
bro,
just spend money.
He want to step philanthropic, like, oh, we make sure we pay our artists and creators.
It's Guns and Roses. It's not like it's not like some indie artist struggling. Like over here, it's Guns and Roses. They got money already.
That's the point I wanted to say, right? Like,
stupid.
he's so proud of it, right? But bro, you pay money to Guns and Roses who don't need the money.
Yeah.
Pay the money to foreign, bro. I'll give you my song in perpetuity, bro. I gave you 10K, bro. 10K enough, bro. You don't need to pay so much. So that's the point I'm trying to make. Okay, but there's precedent though. There's precedent because I don't know whether you know, back in the day, ECW used November Rain to hype out one of their pay-per-views before.
Did they get sued? Because I'm sure Paul Heyman didn't pay.
He
what one? He then rubber one.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but all that aside, like you telling me that, right? I'm like, I'm not surprised, and it's endemic of the entire system there, where he's just playing with his toys and he's just giddy over the fact that he's getting to do shit.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, while I appreciate using the song, and it's a 9-minute song, so okay, it's a great way to kind of tie in a lot of storylines. I think for somebody who don't really watch the product regularly, when I watch it, I actually like, oh, okay, I know this happened. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
I like that, but that shouldn't be the draw of Full Gear. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I watched that, but doesn't mean like I'm gonna pay money to listen to November Rain to some wrestling footage.
When you have John Moxley headlining with Orange Cassidy, you know they've already shat the bed. This is a pre-shat bed, so let's get into the shitty bed, okay?
Yeah.
You kick off the show with a 4-way tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Private Party, Outrunners, Kings of the Black Throne, and The Acclaimed. I feel like every time they are in a match, a tag team 4-way match like this, I say this, but it's like Malachi and Brody. They look great. They have the great movesets. We know that they can go, but they always don't stand out. They're just there to collect a paycheck at this point.
Yeah. I want to address what Rishi's saying as well. Do you know who? I only like 2 out of the 4 tag teams. Do you know who they are? Can you warrant a guess?
2. Kings of the Black Throne and the Outrunners?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know me that well, right? Okay. I tell you why, right? The Outrunners are literally the only bright spot in Collision, and it's such a shame that nobody sees them because they are on Collision, right? Yeah, but they're such a throwback. I love their vignettes. I think they will do so great in this NXT. Like, I think they would be if they were in NXT fighting against like the Tony Angelo's family and like having their own little segments. Can you imagine that against Pretty Deadly? Like, they're just gonna be great, right? Again, Kings of the Black Throne, I've always felt like, presentation aside, they haven't done anything with House of Black.
Nope.
When I say anything, means not backstage promos, in the ring. Remember when Malachi Black first debuted in AEW, put up against Cody Rhodes?
Yep.
We were like, oh, wow, this looks amazing. They didn't capture that momentum after the fact.
Bro, take everybody that they've had that was any name in the industry, and the exact same thing has happened. And this is something we'll talk about over and over again, right? Private Party, to me, they won the titles. They're not more over than they ever were. To me, them getting the titles is just the Young Bucks giving it to their friends. It literally feels like that, right? The right time
to build them was in 2020 when they were hot.
Talking about hot, the Acclaim used to be hot. Now they come out and the audience is flat, right?
Yeah.
And then apparently they're teasing some sort of a breakup. Max Caster becoming a heel, and Anthony Bowen still getting cheered. I don't know what the deal is with that. Rishi did bring it up. Do you know in storyline what they've been pushing for?
Bro, Max Caster, right, is basically the example of what happens if John Cena ran his Doctor of Thugonomics gimmick into the ground. That's what happened. He just rap, and it was fun for a while, and after that, it just got old. And like, people don't react to his raps. It's not as witty anymore. He's going through the motions. And I think that started like very organic booing. And then I think now they recognize it like, actually, Bowens is the real star, or Bowens is more likable than Caster. And they're leaning into that. Essentially, that's what happened.
Okay. Look, nothing against all 4 teams, but it's a 4-way tag team match. So it's
Yeah.
going to be a messy mess. You can't tell a story properly. It just was a match with shit happening, and that's it. That's all I took away from it. Oh, okay, cool. Like, nobody stood out in this match to me. So I was like, okay, I don't know what they were trying to do. They were just doing it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah,
It felt.
and to be honest, there are 4 good teams. Like
Yes.
all 4 have very distinct looks and personalities. But because there wasn't a storyline thread, there wasn't motivations,
Nope.
there's nothing.
It's
That's why
an indie show match.
I would easily say that this should have been a pre-show match,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Actually, I agree with you 100%. This should have kicked off, but at this point, the next match, is it... I hate saying this, but, you know, we are very high on MJF, right?
Yep.
But the fall of MJF needs to be documented. MJF versus Roderick Strong. You know, he was... They've jumped a shark with MJF, I feel. Like, there's nothing interesting about him anymore. And if you think about it, right, he's done the same feud over and over again. The 5 labors of Jericho. Who else was it that he made have to fight a gauntlet to get to him? This
Bro,
is like
it's everyone. That is his specialty, bro.
Yeah, which is like, okay, but the fact that you've done this 5 times already, I'm like, you have not evolved. And that is sad to say about somebody. And MJF, the lead up to this feud, talking about Roderick Strong and his parents and the drug abuse that his parents went through or something like that. His dad shot his mom. I'm like, so MJF is basically the guy who breaks, quote unquote, is the dick heel who talks about personal stuff.
But that's not layered. That's actually lowest hanging fruit.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. And it's not as if this truth, this history has been part of Roderick Strong's presentation. None of us knew about this until, your mother drug addict. Huh? It's like, what? When did this come about, right? Like,
Bro, if I was MJF, you know what would have been the better line to hit Roderick Strong with?
What?
You're here trying to beat me. You're trying to be cool, trying to have your friends. What's your wife doing with Jon Moxley?
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
That would have been so much better than at least it's in storyline.
Yeah, you want to see. That's the thing. Like, I feel like MJF is leaning way too hard into being smart. Like, I know all the outsider things. When the most obvious thing is like, yeah, that's your wife, but she's running around Jon Moxley. What's going on? You know, and it's in kayfabe also. So at least there is storyline connection, but. It is this case of everyone just wants to be in their own bubble in AEW. You see it. Like Roderick Strong, then the Undisputed Kingdom, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, MJF. Now they are like in their little universe, not interacting with the Moxley stuff.
Yeah. You wanna hear something crazy? And I honestly have been observing this in MJF for quite a while. I felt MJF when he came back and he re-signed that contract, right?
Yeah.
He don't give a shit about AEW anymore.
Bro,
it's just money.
Yeah, he's just, and you know what? It's fine because I think he realizes how talented he is. He's going off to make movies. So he's just raising his value while still collecting a big fat paycheck. And you know Tony Khan paid him.
Yeah, for sure. I believe that 2023 MJF was passionate about wanting to make AEW a better place.
Yes.
He was the champion. He really tried. And, he got injured towards the end and the crowd was like bored with him for a while.
Well,
so I don't.
They had somebody there who was willing to make money with him, CM Punk, right?
Correct.
Coming off of that, Adam Cole. But then after the injuries, which is something that happens, they've completely fumbled the bag with the return.
Completely. When he came back, he just destroyed Adam Cole and then like moved on to the next thing, and then he turned heel. And then he fought Adam Cole as the heel. It's just so convoluted. You just destroyed his aura. And my biggest worry is MJF is just going to be another guy on the roster.
He already has become, bro.
Yeah, when he should be the biggest draw in the company. Like, he's not. They are putting him in very bad situations, to be really honest.
Yeah, and to Prabhu's point on the chat, yes, his insults are way too insider at this point.
Exactly.
He is being a smart fan, like a dick smart fan, I guess,
Yeah, and if you remember, right, his segments usually were the biggest pops of rating in the ratings, right, during the course of a Dynamite, right?
Yeah.
But because in the last 2 months he was filming movies, so they made him do like backstage vignettes. And what's your thoughts of them choosing Roderick Strong over Adam Cole to do this pay-per-view match instead?
We all agree that Roderick Strong is an incredible performer in ring. We all also agree that he has zero charisma.
Yes.
He has zero aura. I think the point is to tease the return or reformation of the Undisputed Era or Undisputed whatever, you know? But it's too late for that already. They tried it fell flat, they kind of got together, remember? And they don't have Bobby Fish, but that's a totally different story altogether. It's like they're trying to rehash that NXT magic and it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Kyle O'Reilly, by the way, is part of another faction right now, the conglomeration with terrible name, by the way. And people forget, Kyle was away injured for above a year. And when he came back, nothing.
Nobody cares. Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah.
Okay. I have nothing else to say about this match. Let's move on.
Okay.
Mercedes Moné versus Chris Statlander, which was my favorite wrestling match of the card, which is kind of crazy.
Hot take, right? I was just about to say, like, are you actually legitimately impressed by this? Because I was.
You know what it is, I think. They probably had chemistry, these two people, right? Chemistry plays a big role in like how a match goes down.
Yeah.
Chris Statlander, I think, is the star.
Yep.
The problem here is, I'm pretty sure this is one and done, which is, once again, going back to AEW's god-awful booking. And I say this because I watched the post-match scrum with Mercedes Moné.
Mm-hmm.
The whole time, she's just talking shit and shitting on Camille.
And so making it about the Camille incoming feud, right?
Yeah, like, oh, you're useless, you're injured, this is how you do it, ha ha ha. So I get that the whole idea is, the bodyguard takes all the insults and then she can't take it anymore and then she turns on Mercedes Moné. That's how you make. But they've made Camille look like a chump right from the get-go already.
Yeah,
she was taking way too much damage. She was never portrayed as like the destroyer, like a Diesel was, right? So they're trying to run Diesel, Shawn Michaels all over again, but they're doing it a piss poor way. As in, Camille has taken too much offense. She isn't the big monster that she should be. And then she got injured, right? She's freaking getting run over by cars and stuff like that backstage, right?
Yeah.
And then,
Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale are the right women to push in a homegrown way, right? And what does it say about Britt Baker that a Britt Baker Mercedes Moné match fell flat? And and a Moné and Statlander match was fire. Like, what does it say about Britt Baker? Actually, you know what's my takeaway from that?
Play politics.
No, I don't think Britt is as good as she thinks she is.
Okay, Britt is good on the mic. I think she is a good representative because she got the figure, she got the look, blah, blah, blah. Yep. She's a little bit like Mercedes herself. She's a good package and when presented well, can do well. Whereas in-ring wise, Chris Statlander, actually, you know what? Chris Statlander has the size and everything. It's just they don't want to present her well.
You want to know what's crazy?
What?
If somebody knows what to do with Chris Statlander and somebody knows how to push her, she could be AEW's Rhea Ripley. Easily.
Yes. I agree with you 100%. And yes, she can go in the ring. That's why the match was so good. Unfortunately, and I've already sometimes I'm like, okay, maybe they'll do it right. Maybe they'll do right by. Then at this point, I'm like, no, I think I have to just give up on the fact that they're just going to relegate her off into the lower mid card after this match. Yeah. And they're going to move on with Moné versus the Brick House.
Yeah. What's up, Alfred, by the way? And I think Jason had a great point. Mercedes' best match since Bianca Belair. That's 3 years.
It's a Mercedes thing. At this point, I think the veil has been lifted. We talked about, Mercedes, like Sasha Banks was one of the 4 horsewomen, right?
Yeah.
Who'd have thought that she would turn out to be the worst one?
No, like I feel like Sasha Banks, I think, is the one that needs WWE's machine the most out of all the 4 horsewomen.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I feel like Bayley can thrive in the indies.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Charlotte Flair it's not even the WWE machine, her name herself.
No, yeah.
She
Charlotte
can
and Becky are stars.
Yeah, they are stars. I think it's very well established. But Sasha actually has the opportunity to become a bigger star if she succeeds in AEW. Problem is, now that she's being put in a position to succeed, she's not. She's not.
Because she doesn't have the machine backing her. And unfortunately, AEW is not the place to be if you don't have it, quote unquote, right? Because they let everybody lean into their worst tendencies. Yeah. Let's move on to Jay White versus Hangman Page. I had zero... literally when it happened, I was like, okay, I should be excited for this, right? Like, it on paper looks like a really good match. For whatever reason, I see Hangman Page, I see it already. I'm sorry, Hangman doesn't do it for me anymore. This pyrotechnic the pyromaniac Hangman. Jay White's kind of okay, like he's there, lor.
Yeah. In ring wise, I'm not gonna complain or like
Yeah, it was-
criticize them in the ring. But this to me, out of everything, all the matches on this card, this was the coldest match.
Yep.
Absolutely no heat. Nobody cared because both of them are like neither here nor there in terms of babyface and heels.
Yes.
In another world, to be really honest, in another world, I remember New Japan Switchblade. He was so badass. I remember Hangman Page when he was like the babyface of AEW when people actually really liked him.
Yep.
That two characters would have been an amazing chemistry and amazing story, right?
But
here,
it's long gone. It's all about presentation and recent presentation. And I still feel like Adam Page has that stink, the CM Punk stink, if you want to call it, of just CM Punk exposed this guy for being a bitch, essentially. So I can't take him seriously anymore.
He's gonna get the Colt Cabana treatment for the rest of his career, bro. Like,
well,
if you're on, the thing is, right, CM Punk is the kind of guy, right, if you're on his good side, he will shine you up real nice, bro. He will make you like the biggest star. Like Ricky Starks has never been the same again since not having CM Punk. FTR has never been the same again since not having the CM Punk shine, right? But also on the flip side, you get on CM Punk's wrong side, bro. He can basically destroy your wrestling career, bro.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened with Adam Page. Like, I feel like he is the biggest what ifs of AEW because he was pushed to be going to be their top star, but the way he handled that whole thing, I know he was trying to stand up for his friend, but like to the detriment of your own personality, to the detriment of your company, like.
But, okay, so I get that he was trying to stand up to his friend, right? I think he picked the wrong fight and he wasn't equipped to get into that fight. Because quite frankly, I feel like if he had come out with a legit promo that drew boos and drew heat, whatever, right? I think CM Punk in some way would have respected that.
Yeah.
But no, he came in and mumbled his way through some bullshit. He went off script, and nobody caught what he was trying to say. And that's the problem with Jon Moxley right now. I feel like you have to know the product and the inside stuff to understand what Jon Moxley is trying to do. And from a quote-unquote perspective of if you're just a casual viewer, you have no idea why he's doing that. We'll get to that in just a little while. But okay, Kyle Fletcher versus Will Ospreay. I remember you sent me.
I wanted to say something to wrap up the match before we move to the next match, right? That being said, and I know Prabhu said Jay White somehow left his aura in Japan, which was hilarious. That being said, actually I love the finish. Do you see the finish that Switchblade did on Hangman?
Was it a reversal of the buck? I can't forget.
It was a reversal of the buck, and he used the momentum to kind of like transform mid-move into his finisher, which was the
Hidden Blade.
Hidden Blade is Will Ospreay's move, but basically it's the Bray Wyatt's Sister Abigail finisher. Yeah. He did it so well, and I have not seen that executed that well since like Bray Wyatt. Like, it was so smooth, and if you had time to watch it back, you'll get what I mean.
Yeah.
His in-ring work and smoothness, that's one of Jay White's biggest strengths. But
we are not playing into everybody's strengths. We are playing into everybody's freaking worst tendencies. This is AEW, where the best wrestle.
Bro, don't start me about what Jay White did at the end of the show. We're going to talk about that as well.
Wait, what did he do at the... Is it... Oh, right. Okay, yeah. Let's talk about Kyle Fletcher versus Will Ospreay.
I remember this. You said I sent you something, right?
you sent me. You were like, oh yeah, like this is one of your favorite matches. The other one was Monet versus Statlander, which I agree with you on that. To me, this match featured two very acrobatic and very you could see potential written all over these two people. Right? But then they go out there and basically throw everything under the sun. And it got to a point where it became an exhibition gymnastics routine. It's the same problem with Ricochet versus Will Ospreay. It's once again them leaning into their worst tendencies. When you have people doing... And the number of pile driver and pile driver type moves in this match was ridiculous. And once again, you... start doing pile drivers on the floor, pile driver onto the steel steps, and you're still continuing the match, kicking out, stuff like that. Nothing means anything anymore. right? Not to draw the comparison, but Kevin Owens, one simple pile driver, suddenly, and the crowd is like, oh, and they sell it like it means something. And then Randy Orton's there twitching like he just broke his neck and shit like that. Meanwhile, these guys are just taking, legit pile drivers on the floor and on stairs, and they're getting back up, kicking out at 2. What the hell?
Yeah, bro. I love 80% of this match, but the moment that happened, the moment the steel step spot happened, the freaking jumping tombstone from the ring apron to the steel steps, and Carl Fletcher rolled him in. Will Ospreay was twitching in my mind. I was like, okay, this was an excellent way to end the match. People is gonna be sympathetic towards Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
They're gonna be worried about him, and then this motherfucker kick out. The moment this guy kicked out, bro, I was like, okay, I'm done with this match. You ruined the match for me, bro.
The match was 24 minutes. It could have gone 20, maybe 18 minutes, and it would have been just fine. I think they, once again, I'll say this over and over again, they lean way too far into their worst tendencies. They made all the moves, and there were a lot of finishes being thrown out, like Styles Clash. I get it. Okay, they don't treat those as finisher moves, whatever, right? But yeah, it got to a point where you're just spamming finishes. It felt like a Street Fighter game. There was no emotion to be had. And okay, I'm sorry, but yeah, Carl Fletcher looks really like a Timu Randy Orton. He when he had the boy band long blonde hair thing, he actually had more personality. He looks bland as a botak or a buzz cut fella. Very bland.
I hope he recognizes his mistake, just like how Dolph Ziggler recognized his mistake and then he grew back his hair. Remember? And one time he had like a buzz cut. I like Carl Fletcher's personality because he showed a bit of it at the press conference. To be really honest, he has some confidence in him now, and I kind of like. Okay, haircut aside, I like his physique. I feel like he looks physically like up there, right? He's fine, right? And I do appreciate his athleticism. I do feel like given the right direction, he can be a star. He can be on the par. I know this was a star-making night for him lah, because Will Ospreay put him over, right? But he's not ready for this spot, to be honest. He's really not ready for this spot.
I will disagree with you. I actually think that this is not a star-making night because, unfortunately, I don't feel like Will Ospreay is at the level that they think he is. They think in their mind he is that New Japan guy. He is that big world champion guy. In AEW, he has not won the main championship. He has not proven himself. He has not been that guy yet. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I completely understand.
And it feels like Will Ospreay just doing a favor for his friend. It's like, remember at the start of AEW, Kenny was losing every freaking match?
Yes,
and it elevated nobody because you haven't established that you are a dominant force yet. People don't know that you are this god of wrestling from New Japan, right? The casual audience. So the exact same thing has happened with Will Ospreay. Clearly, AEW didn't learn from their mistake the first time, right? And now you have Will Ospreay. This, if anything, hurt Will Ospreay more than it helped Kyle Fletcher. This is what I feel about this match.
I completely agree with you. And I don't say that this was a star-making night. What I'm saying was this was supposed to be. AEW wanted this to be the star-making night for Carl Fletcher. The way it was laid out is very clear. They're trying to put over Carl Fletcher, right? But what I agree with you is that Will Ospreay is not a big enough star to be putting other people over. If it was me, you know what? How I would have built up Carl Fletcher. I want Carl Fletcher to push Will Ospreay to his limit. But Will Ospreay defeats Carl Fletcher, and then this can set off a rivalry down the road where I still have your number. I'm still the number one guy. You're still looking up to me. You still got a lot to learn, kid. And then this fuels Carl Fletcher, right?
Or have Will Ospreay go through the gauntlet. You have an entire Don Callis family. Once again, they jump the gun on this feud. Because, okay, I guess they can continue now, or Carl Fletcher wins, blah, 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 but I don't know, man. It just, to me, this was just a video game match where nothing mattered. You gave the rub to the wrong person, and it's not going to mean anything in about a month's time. It's not going to mean a thing in a week.
Bro, and Carl Fletcher, while he has a lot of the tools, again, is the Daniel Garcia problem, right? He's not it, bro. He's just not it.
Speaking of not it, Daniel Garcia, oh my God.
Yeah.
I am of two minds about the intro package. Did you watch the intro package? That was narrated by his mother.
Yeah, his mother.
I mean, it's sweet. I don't know, but watching it and watching his demeanor, nothing about him feels like somebody I want to root for. He just looks like a sensitive boy. I don't know how to even put it. Like, so your
Okay.
gaming is you're a sensitive guy?
Bro, if your gimmick is your mama's boy, right? And like when I listened to that intro package, I was thinking to myself, like, this will make a very emotional, heartfelt scene in
Yeah.
Spider-Man Into the Universe. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
like it's for a Miles Morales who's a teenager, right?
Yeah.
This is supposed to be a badass wrestler, and he got this
Yeah.
fuckboy look. He
You are
thinks
a
he's so
grown ass
cool.
man, bro.
Bro, he looks like Mason, right? Like if you compare it in Singapore wrestling term, if Mason was that kid, suddenly before his badass promo being an asshole and all that, then got the mother say, "Hey, come home, son. Okay, make sure you eat. Don't be so late." You know what I mean? I'm like, bro, your aura done already, bro. Daniel Garcia, your aura gone already. You know what I mean?
And talking about aura, Jack Perry was his opponent, who after his whole scapegoat thing, I'm like, okay, they're leaning into it, sure, but there's nothing, no heat. After, like literally, they both come out and the crowd is like, after the initial like, oh, quiet. Bro, I'm not gonna lie, I could not watch this match. Like, I don't know how they wrestled because I was so like, this match is so zero aura, negative aura, that I just started doing other things. I did not pay attention to this match. There was nothing about this match that made me go, shit, I want to see what's going on.
Bro, if I want to compare this to UFC terms, right? Like, they can have all the heat, all the story that they want to try to somehow make Jack Perry and Daniel Garcia super compelling characters. But to me, this was like a featherweight undercut bout. It will forever, that's gotta be forever their ceiling. Like, if this was a cruiserweight match, this would be a great CD storyline.
Yeah.
But do not ever insult my intelligence by trying to make Jack Perry a top heel. Do not insult my intelligence by telling everyone that, okay, Daniel Garcia is the next top babyface in this company.
Yeah.
Like, no, like, they're not. And it's okay if they can just stay at this level. I mean, look at Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
Very great, very compelling character. Great at NXT, right? I will never want him to be in the main event scene.
But bro, now they are doing things with Ciampa that could be sort of reviving that whole feud they had in NXT, but that's a different story altogether. So yeah, let's very quickly move along from this zero aura feud. We have a new champion, Daniel Garcia, and nobody gives a crap. I can't remember when this segment happened, but let's talk about it now. I think we might have the order wrong, but the champagne celebration.
The Mina Shirakawa and
should have 100% been a Dynamite segment, collision segment. Can I just oh my god. Okay, here we go. So everything about this segment was dog shit.
Yeah.
Like, I get they want to show titties, and it's not disrespectful when they themselves on the show call it titties. You saw the promo, right?
Okay, basically the way they tease it, they thought this was gonna be like a live sex celebration.
Right? Yeah, well, okay, yeah, not quite, but yeah, they were like, oh, HLA, sort of, look at these two, they are shaking their boobies, blah, 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 that kind of thing, right? Yeah. And look, I have no problem with Mariah May turning and finally getting into a meaningful feud, because God knows, we've talked about this, after Toni Storm made Mariah May literally drop the ball. Again, same story of AEW, they cannot capitalize on anybody's heat whatsoever, right?
Yeah,
so I was like, at least, okay, if the turn happens here, which we know it will happen, at least she has a storyline to move forward. They have a quote-unquote history, they were best friends, they kissed, whatever shit, right? This is, I don't understand, please explain the booking to me. Because Mariah May teases she's going to hit Mina with the whatchamacallit, the bottle, right?
Yes.
Mina turns around, haha, I caught you! And then she kicks the bottle out of her hand. Cool visual, I like it. And Mina proceeds to beat the living shit out of Mariah May, taking her over the stage onto the tables, right? So, what have we just witnessed there? The heel tries to backstab the face. The face basically defeats the heel straight up. What's the point of watching anymore? You already told the whole fucking story already, what? The heel didn't get one up on the face, and therefore there is no payback to be had. The face literally won. Like, what are y'all doing?
Bro, they did everything wrong.
It was completely ass backwards.
It's like, if I was the booker, they make this like championship manager, right?
Yeah.
Okay, do option A or option B. Okay, I tell you first, everything is option A is correct.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know it's correct, I'm just gonna do the opposite of it. That's
Right?
exactly what happened. Okay, think about it this way, right? Any normal sane booker with a brain would do this, right?
Yeah.
Mariah May teases, hitting the champagne bottle, and then once
Mina.
what do you call it? Mina's get her back is turned,
Yeah.
attack her, basically do the exact same thing that she did to Tony Storm, because that was a great turn that happened,
Yeah.
right? So it's like she's really a heel. She becomes even more of a vicious heel because she attacks
Yeah.
Mina Shirakawa. She could have the broken head. She could start bleeding, and then that would be a great visual. Boom. Storyline can start into the December, right? Even if you want to go the other way around, okay, fine. Mina Shirakawa last minute sees the bottle, somehow ducks, and then kicks the freaking, I don't know, like kicks the bottle out of her hand, right? While she tries to go crazy, like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And then Mariah May somehow still have like a hidden bottle in her hand or something, and still attacks her, so that you can still see the visual of her getting heartbroken. Like how Chris Jericho and the Festival of Friendship, right? He saw it coming. He was like, why is my name on the list? Everyone was like, oh, and then do it again, right? At least she can be crying, her head can be bleeding, she can be heartbroken. You have that visual. You also have Mariah May still getting that one up.
No, the final visual is of the baby face who just got backstabbed, bleeding, because I don't know, she cut herself or something like that, right? But she already vanquished the bad guy. There's no story to be told anymore.
Yeah.
The levels of which they F this whole thing up is hilarious. Like, there is no point.
Yeah, bro. They literally and figuratively busted their load too early. I think they just cannot tahan. They see Mina Shirakawa and Mariah May, they just I need to just pull the trigger on this story. But
why even do something that makes no sense? So then now you have Mariah May who's going to be chasing Miracle, but who cares? She's the heel. She's not the one that's supposed to be chasing for vengeance. That's so dumb. It's like if Shawn Michaels kicked Marty Jannetty through the plate glass window, but Marty Jannetty was like, nope, I saw you, and then throws Shawn Michaels through the thing instead.
Oh my god, that's the best comparison, bro.
There's no feud. There's no feud.
Bro, eventually Shawn Michaels tried to kick, and then right before last minute, he ducks. Yeah. He throws Shawn Michaels through the thing, and then he falls on his knees and he cries, "Why you do that to me? Why?"
you won already. There's no feud. Oh my god, this is just so ass backwards. Let's move on. We didn't know this was going to be a match. Takeshita versus Ricochet. Okay, by and large, there are promo packages. I'm going to try to speed run the rest because it's already 12 noon. By and large, their promo packages have been good, decent. This was the worst promo package. It stood out like a sore thumb. You know why?
Ooh, why? Tell me.
What is the one thing that we all say Ricochet lacks?
Promo skills?
Yeah. Who narrates this entire promo package? Ricochet. It was the most bland, and he has that voice. His problem, and this is coming from a guy who literally uses his voice. You notice I dropped my tone a little bit to say that. Literally uses his voice for his job, right?
Yeah.
He talks in his throat, and that's why every time he talks, he sounds like he's gonna cry. That's the problem with Ricochet. And that's fine. He is an incredible athlete in ring. They should have just hired one of those professional movie voiceover artists to do this promo package. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I give you the best example of a menacing wrestler with a very funny voice that still somehow was able to overcome that and still be badass. Right? Number one guy. Who can you think of? You want to fashion a guess? Brock Lesnar.
Every time he gets angry, he's out here.
Remember Brock Lesnar? Remember that?
Yeah. No, but you see, he is so menacing and physically outrageous that you can't not. And that's why he has Paul Heyman to talk for him,
Correct. I feel like, again, why is Ricochet not being with MVP? Why? And I know they talk about it. Hurt Syndicate wanted to.
Maybe this is the tease. Because, okay, you have the whole promo package hyping up Ricochet. And this is the other thing, right? The promo package was one-sided. It was just Ricochet talking about his feud with Takeshita. Like, where is the Takeshita side? Usually, promo packages, they'll feature both sides. UFC promo packages, WWE, every promo package. This one is just all Ricochet yammering on for a minute and a half in his shitty, want to cry voice. It literally built zero hype for this match.
Bro, and Takeshita, right? You just let him cut promos in Japanese.
Yeah.
Put some menacing music. I tell you, he can do Shinsuke Nakamura better than Nakamura can do Shinsuke Nakamura at this point in his career.
Yeah, right. And he has the size and the build, right?
Yeah.
The match itself, it was all right. You know what the effed up part is?
Yep.
We talk about Ricochet coming in from the WWE. You know, oh yeah, he's going to be the big star. AEW is where he's going to succeed. He's become one of the guys. He lost clean. Like, there was barely any interference to talk of.
I'm not mad about that because Takeshita clearly has a bigger upside out of the both of them.
But you get the point of like they brought in somebody with
so
the buzz.
Yeah,
and it's just completely fallen flat.
Bro, and the funny thing is, right, like for the talent in the ring, this match didn't live up to his potential at all. Like, I wasn't even expecting like flippy stuff or what. I just felt like they could have done so much better.
Yeah.
And I've seen Takeshita do banger matches with Will Ospreay. So like, I do not know why Ricochet couldn't do the same thing. So, fell flat in the ring, fell flat in the promo, fell flat in terms of their character potential. And I just want Takeshita to have. I need Takeshita to be against like a better rival, to be really honest.
I feel like Takeshita is another one of those guys that Tony Khan's kind of meh about. They're just giving him the title because he threatened, he upset, he complained on social media.
Bro,
same as Daniel Garcia, same as, like, this is not how to run a business, I'm sorry.
No, Tony Khan is just putting his chips on the wrong people, to be honest. Like, Takeshita should be the guy, but don't give him the title because he complained. Give him the title because he deserves it and put a great story around him, build him up, right?
You know, old TK doesn't have the ability to do that.
No, instead he put his chips on Jack Perry,
Orange Cassidy. Okay,
we'll talk about Orange
we'll get to that. Bobby Lashley is next up with the Hurt Syndicate versus Swerve Strickland.
Bro, I'm pissed off about Bobby Lashley's booking already. I'm pissed off.
It's starting already. On Dynamite, he gets attacked by Swerve. Now, here's the thing. Swerve had a chain in his hand, but visually you could not see the chain, the logging chain.
Yeah.
If the commentators didn't mention it, I wouldn't have noticed. So can you imagine people who are just, watching peripherally, not paying 100% attention? All you see is Bobby Lashley getting laid out in the car park by Swerve. And then you're like, hey, this Bobby not that good. He kena hantam one time, only he fall to the ground.
Bro, first month only in AEW.
And then
that's not enough. Please.
No. And then the match itself, it was a fine match in terms of wrestling, right? But the problem is, I honestly, if John Cena can get dismantled by Brock Lesnar in, like a minute? Do you remember that match?
Oh yeah, less than 10 minutes. Bro.
Less than 10 minutes? I think Swerve should have been dismantled by Bobby in less than 5. I'm sorry, but I think that should have been the start to this, because they're obviously going to feud some more, right?
Yeah.
And then you can tell the story of Swerve building himself back up to challenge Bobby Lashley. Instead, you had a quote-unquote competitive match.
You know what's frustrating about this? You do realize that this is not Bobby Lashley's first match in AEW already, right?
No. He had a match on Dynamite. That one where he gonna hunt him in the back.
Yeah, and after that kena hantam attack, right? He had a 2-on-1 handicap squash match against a bunch of jobbers, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, their logic is probably like, I want to build him up to be like this big star. But you should have built him up to be an attraction. Like, Brock Lesnar's first match in WWE was Extreme Rules 2012 against John Cena, his big return match. He didn't do a random SmackDown, defeat a bunch of jobbers to build up his heat. You don't need that. You're freaking Bobby Lashley, bro.
This is, once again, the story of AEW. Tony Khan does not have it in him to hold back. Everything, his load come out first. It's so obvious, I would have had this be Shelton versus Strickland. And Bobby just stand there, sitting there looking like Shao Kahn.
Yeah.
You got to fight your way up to me, sort of a vibe. You know what I mean?
I mean, they've had that match before Bobby Lashley debuted, but I feel like now, just because Bobby debuted, you're going to put Shelton to the side again?
Yeah. No, the fact that he already lost, Shelton already lost. Within a week, he's the flunky. He's the kakia,
Yeah, but I thought they were presenting him as something else in AEW. Like, they are all supposed to be like equals.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, okay, I still have belief in Hurt Syndicate. Not because of Tony Khan. Because we have MVP there.
Yes.
Because they are going to be in charge of their own creative. And no one's going to say no to Bobby Lashley. No, who's going to fuck with Bobby Lashley in AEW, tell me?
Well, then again, he's so nice. He might be... Scully, Bryan Danielson. You watch, within a month, he's going to have 30, 20-minute matches with Jack Perry.
Bro, later Bobby Lashley gonna do the diving off the top rope or diving through the rope. Well, then I don't know what to say already.
How long
But
before we see him take a Canadian destroyer? Yeah, lor. You know,
no. How long before he takes a Panama Sunrise from Adam Cole?
oh my god. Okay,
Can you imagine Bobby Lashley flip for Adam Cole?
Bro, the shine is completely off Adam Cole. You know, I was such a big fan of Adam Cole in NXT. Now I realize a lot of it, 90% of it, was the booking. Because now they can't book. He can't book himself worth a shit.
Okay, but serious question. Was he much more in shape in NXT?
Yes, he was much more in shape. He had more direction, right?
More tone.
Yeah, and he was facing off against people his size. Now I can't remember where I heard this quote, but when I saw it, it made so much sense. Adam Cole is wrestling like a heavyweight. He's a small guy, but he doesn't do flips. He doesn't do, moonsaults and swantons like a high flyer. He does heavyweight shit, and these heavyweight guys are trying to sell for him, making it look completely ridiculous.
Agreed. Yeah, he again, like, I wish people wrestle the way they look like.
Yeah.
And I know this is like, how can you say that? Like, I can be whatever I want. I can be a heavyweight and flip if I want, whatever it is lah. But to me, it's like that makes it harder for people to get with the story. Like, if I'm a big size guy, I fight like a big size guy, and then like a smaller size guy have to do all that,
Flippy
athletic stuff to get an advantage.
Yeah.
That is so easy to register. Okay, even if you want to do crazy shit, like how, remember Keith Lee did all that crazy like cruiserweight shit when he was in NXT, right? But he did it against a Dijak.
Yeah, right?
So it's like, okay, I'm two athletic big guys fighting each other. But if Keith Lee were to do that crazy shit against Adam Cole in their rivalry, I would be like, come on. You know what's my most memorable moment from Keith Lee and Adam Cole? We still remember it to this day.
The pounce, is it? The one where he pounced him into the crowd.
Exactly.
Yep.
Simple power move, but such an effective moment. Everyone will remember it for years to come. Because he's such a big size guy. He pounced this small size fella. He like, fly 3 rows into the freaking crowd.
He literally yeeted him. So anyway, just to come back to this, Bobby Lashley should have dispatched Swerve much faster. No hate against Swerve, but I think his heat also has completely evaporated at this point. They should focus on building Bobby as the monster, the Brock Lesnar of AEW, but they're not gonna, because they don't do squash matches. Everyone needs to look good.
I'm gonna be curious for our Kick to the Gut Awards, because we do have an AEW categories, right? We do have AEW categories. I'm curious to know what the listeners are gonna say, or what even you're gonna say. Who's gonna be your top AEW wrestler of 2024? Who's gonna be your top group of 2024? Because it's like slim pickings lah.
It really is. Let's talk about Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy.
Main event time.
The crowd was like, right off the bat, Orange Cassidy is not him. The match itself, like, everybody and their mother tried to, like, okay, you had the whole all the Death Riders, right? The idea that Orange Cassidy can even stand up to Jon Moxley in the first place is ridiculous, ludicrous on the face of it.
I mean, there's precedent. You know that Orange Cassidy defeated Jon Moxley. I mean, Jon Moxley beat Orange Cassidy last year for the International Championship. They both traded wins.
Yeah.
But that was 1 year ago, and I try to tell that story in the world title picture now. But again, every time I look at Orange Cassidy, I just keep thinking about, there are a million other wrestlers that should have been in this sport. They are way more talented, way more charismatic. Imagine Ricky Starks in this sport, right? Imagine Wardlow in this sport.
Ooh.
Yeah, imagine people who actually have the charisma. Imagine, like, bro,
Powerhouse Hobbs,
youngsters who I feel like is not given enough chance. Miro, fuck, like, you know what I mean? Like, not Orange Cassidy, bro.
So it is what it is. They tried their best, right? They tried to tell that story. I think the biggest takeaway from this match is the post-match shenanigans, the afterbirth, as it was. Okay.
That being said, like, was there anything positive about the match itself between Orange Cassidy and Jon? Do you think that Orange Cassidy actually wrestled a bit more seriously?
Yeah,
put in a bit more effort.
I mean, he tried to put in more fire, but I guess he's played this quote unquote lazy. That's his whole entire gimmick. He don't care, right? So long that even when he fires up, I can't take him seriously.
Okay. Yeah. But Lincoln says his top AEW wrestler is Orange Cassidy. Okay. Laundromat Fold in. Nice to meet you, bro. I don't think we've seen you on the chat. Swerve constantly gets the biggest pops on the weekly show. I think he's fine. Yeah, I do agree. He does at least have a reaction
No,
among the
no, no, no,
audience.
hang on. He gets the biggest pops, but they die out so quick, especially when they let him promo on a little bit too long. And these pops are getting smaller and smaller as we go along.
Yeah, I disagree with you, bro. I don't think Wardlow has zero charisma. In fact, his presence is his charisma. He doesn't
Yep.
have to say stuff. Like that's the point I'm trying to say. Like if you can't you can't vocalize in promos, have the aura to
Yep.
just do your
Remember
thing.
when people were doing the Powerbomb Symphony shit? He was there. He had that moment where they could have capitalized, made him a star, right? But as usual, they dropped the ball up. It is what it is. Okay, so let's move on to the afterbirth. There's just way too much shit going on. I don't know what they're trying. Yeah, I don't know what they were trying to go for this. You had so Christian Cage comes out to tease, cashing in his, Timu Money in the Bank, right? Yeah. And then you have Adam Page limping out. Okay, did I miss something? Why is Adam Page sort of like stopping Christian Cage? Why do they have a thing?
I don't know. I know there was a tag team situation that they had a couple of weeks back on Dynamite. And I know they're trying to portray Adam Page as this renegade that just goes around doing crazy shit.
Yeah, so is he a face or a heel?
He doesn't. That's the thing. He doesn't tie him back into this story. Like they're just putting random characters at the end of her. It's a WCW thing. Is the end of Nitro? A bunch of random people just come out do stupid shit. So yeah.
Yeah, and then you got Jay White coming out as well, doing some shit. He stopped Christian from cashing in, correct?
Yes, correct. He did.
Yeah, so there was that whole like cluster F. I guess they're trying to present Christian as, don't forget, he has the contract, he can cash in at any moment. Usually you want to hide the fact and make people forget so that when the cash in does happen, it means something, right? But no, of course, you can't have that sort of forward thinking here in AEW. And then you move on to all the backstage stuff they fight off. And this is like, okay, this is where the logic in me just kind of goes, what the hell are you guys doing, right? There's the whole thing of somebody wrecked their car. Correct? They go into the parking lot, their car is all busted up. They're like, all right, let's just commit Grand Theft Auto. Let's find a key. Which fucking valet guy decided to park a car right in the middle, ready to go? Who the hell? I've given my fair share of car keys to valets. Who parks the car right there, ready to go?
Ready to be T-bone, bro. Very convenient.
No. Yeah, exactly. Right? No, and the escape car was also just sitting there, ready to go off already. Like, what?
So how? Okay, Mike. So that's another logic question, right? So you got spare cars ready for you to go, like in case your first car gets crashed. So there's gonna be a car that's gonna your first car gonna get crashed.
Yeah.
So like, I don't even want to talk about like the logic about that final segment. But what I'm trying to say is like, it's a whole bunch of segments that meant nothing. It was supposed to so-called end the show on a cliffhanger. You have Darby Allin basically commit like a crime on TV, right?
You got vehicular assault, you got Grand Theft Auto. The past few pay-per-views have featured attempted murder via suffocation. So this is their idea of revolutionizing or making things must-see. Okay.
If I was Darby Allin, I would be pissed off. You know why, right?
Why?
Didn't I earn a world title opportunity?
Oh, yeah. And then you lost it to Mox, which, I mean, okay, so they're aiming for Mox versus Darby Allin. Darby Allin's going to be that guy that saves AEW. AEW original versus quote-unquote WWE guy, right? I get where they're going with it, but this just entire clusterfuck, freaking worst of Attitude Era nonsense doesn't work. Because
The thing about the Death Riders is like, it's Moxley's machine, right? He's the main guy fronting it. We haven't heard from Park. We haven't heard from Claudio.
Well, that might be a good thing.
Yeah,
to be honest.
We also will never hear from Rina Shafir because I think she looks better not talking. And then we have that whole. Remember, Wheeler Utah was supposed to be this conflicted fella. He joined, didn't join. Blah blah blah.
Didn't he pour like cleaning fluid or disinfectant stuff on Orange Cassidy who's bleeding?
Yeah, they wanted to like suffocate him and do all that poisoning shit, right? And then that's when like Adam Page supposedly saved the day. Christian Cage came in, and then remember the last thing that happened. And I wanted to tie it back to the previous match we were talking about. What the fuck was Jay White there doing?
Okay, Jay White. There is some connection there that if you don't follow religiously and study. And we've talked about this. AEW, they only cater to their hardcore fans, lah. If that's exactly what it is. I think for most
Bro.
casuals, they are just left there with a big question mark on their head.
Bro, you want to know something that will piss you off? I know it will trigger you, but I have to say it, bro.
Yeah.
You know what? What was the comment that I read about this whole segment?
What?
Oh, it's the same. What is AEW doing? The WrestleMania 40, their own version of WrestleMania 40 at the end. And then, bro. So you're saying Christian Cage, what?
Jay White,
Hangman Page is like John Cena, The
Rock, Undertaker. Yeah, no, this is the Wish.com Timu version, huh? And then, of course, you had that spot where poor Darby Allin tried to climb on top of the van to, smash the windscreen, and he almost tripped. And I'm sorry, they need to stop doing risky shit like this and getting themselves hurt eventually. But then there is a Darby Allin thing, he's the guy who wants to try to climb Mount Everest and break himself. Bro, so there you go. It's just, no. This, to me, is the straw that breaks the camel's back. I've tried to give AEW a shot, like so many pay-per-views. I'm like, okay, we're going to talk about it, so I'll just buy the freaking thing. I felt like I wasted my money. I felt like I wasted my time. I felt like my intelligence was insulted over and over and over again. The peak stupidity in booking was the Mina Shirakawa Mariah May thing.
Yeah.
And everything about AEW screams wasted opportunity. Wasted opportunity.
Yeah. And I'm not even going to address that guy in the chat anymore. But I just wanted to say, we did pay money to watch this pay-per-view, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm a long-time AEW fan, right? When 2019 AEW first started, I was really excited. Double or Nothing, Dustin Rhodes versus Cody Rhodes, one of the most emotional matches. And I was excited about the vision of what AEW can be, right? And I'm not even saying this as a CM Punk fan, because even after CM Punk left, there were things about AEW that really caught my attention. I did like MJF versus Adam Cole last year. I did like Eddie Kingston. I know we haven't heard Eddie Kingston's name for a long time, but Eddie Kingston winning the Continental Classic last year, there was a lot of hope in me for what AEW can be, right?
Yep.
It's just that I feel like they have the right talent. They have talent there. Everyone can wrestle. Everyone have certain, not all of them, but a lot of them have their characters.
Yeah.
They are aware of it. I just feel like there is no threat. I can't feel invested to watch week to week AEW Dynamite television, because even if I watch something, there will never be any follow up. Even if I see something, they will like I won't get what they're trying to tell after the fact. It's so hard to follow, and not in the best way possible. If you watch Dragon Ball Z, I missed a couple of episodes, I might have missed some stuff, but damn, the story itself is great. But some things really that just doesn't make sense. And it's really hard to justify it making sense. And if you want to have an alternative product to WWE, yes, you gotta lean into the things that make you unique, right? Yeah, maybe wrestlers have creative freedom, maybe they can do longer matches, but the audience, the audience kind of reflects the interest, right? So less people are watching it. There has to be a reason why. Something about what they're doing now is not resonating to the audience from 3 years ago.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see where we are in 2025. Now, 2025, they'll be on Max. We're going to get Max here in Singapore as well. I don't subscribe to Max, so I don't know if it's definitely something I'm not going to subscribe to Max for. Let's just put it that way, right? Yeah, but at the same time, too, at this point, right, it's like, okay, you want the alternative, you're probably better off watching TNA and not having your intelligence insulted week in, week out.
Yeah. And the craziest thing is, Scott D'Amore recently visited NXT. So you got one free agent who's an incredible booker who have done great things with TNA. Gonna be recruited to be part of NXT when AEW is just right there, and he chose not to go to AEW. So what does that say?
It is what it is. Okay, we need to jump into the Ring of Rebirth review, so I'm gonna try to get our good friend Prabhu into the podcast right now.
In the meantime, guys, share with us your grades for AEW Full Gear. We really want to know what you guys think. A, B, C, or out of 10. Feel free to let us know, because
is F on the table?
Up to you. I mean, you're the one that put it in the trash can. I would say, I would give it a C. Like it's definitely not the strongest pay-per-view for AEW of the year. It could be one of the worst ones.
Mm.
And
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm saying this because I've paid money, so I can definitely say that if it's worth my money or not. And to be really honest, it wasn't.
Bro, once again, it was not only not worth my money, it was not worth my time, and that to me is more important. You know.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm kind of glad, Prabhu, you weren't here for this entire thing, right?
Yeah. I
'Cause-
hope we took a break. I hope your internet was well rested because you
Yes,
didn't need
yes.
to go through that.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
connection is not good out here in the jungles where the silverback lives,
Yes,
It's hard to get
but
Wi-Fi.
but we did get the silverback in. Thanks for joining us once again. You were there at Ring of Rebirth this past weekend, so we want to very quickly talk about it as well.
Yes, indeed. I was. So Ring of Rebirth Experience 4, I believe this is their fourth show that they've done so far.
Okay.
So we'll start out with the first match of the night. First match was Mr. Geylang versus Nick. So obviously, Nick is a veteran, 12-year veteran, one of the OGs of Singapore wrestling. And that was a point that Mr. Geylang brought up because he was like, hey, this guy, the 12-year vet, is not a fair match.
Right.
Let's make it a handicap, which is sound and flawless logic. I applaud him for thinking that. I will use that next time.
Love
Uh-huh.
it. I love it.
So he got himself in a team with his new faction actually, consisting of Alfred, the manager, and Geylang Green, who is one of their newer guys. They are pretty much doing the thing where you have this like big guy, but he's still a bit new, still a bit green, as the name would imply. They put a mask on him.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
gotcha.
So they put a
Okay.
mask on him, let him get the reps in, especially in there with a veteran like Nick.
Yeah. And
And,
I know
so
our
the match is-
manager, the manager Alfred is in the chat right now. Can you tell us more about like their presentation? So you got the guy who's like a mask, big size guy. What is Alfred doing?
So Alfred is basically he's Mr. Geylang light. Basically, he comes out in his shirt. He was a nice guy, a young, honest man, but he's been corrupted by Mr. Geylang and his ways. We brought him to the fish tank
lorons.
once, and then he was lost to the streets.
He's for the streets right now,
He's for the
essentially.
streets. He's for the streets. Yeah. So
Okay.
So Mr. Geylang is obviously he's more of a character wrestler than a work rate guy, right?
Right.
And he pretty much did that this match. He kept it entertaining with his quips and his comments and his little commentary that he does on the side. It's quite funny, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Geylang Green he's a bit like you can tell when maybe they get a bit lost some parts of the match and Nick has to kind of get him back on track and keep it going. But other than that, I don't have any like terrible things to say about like his biggest issue is greenness, which as time goes on he'll get over it.
Yeah, I'm curious to
So
know
Nick
because you
beats
wrote
him with the 450 spear.
Yeah, you gave grades, right, for this match?
I did my grades. Div Royalty has given grades. Mine.
Okay.
Not
Your
up
mi-
there.
Yours is more of an objective analysis of the matches. Okay, fair enough.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I do feel like maybe they could have, since it was a 2-on-1, right? They could have done a bit more babyface in peril and less high flying moves. But at the same time, I get it because the veteran is the high flying babyface in this match. And since he's on the opening match of the card, you want to get the audience hyped. You want to jump here, jump there, flip here, flip there, and get the audience excited for the next match. And he did a good job. His stuff is flawless. I have no critiques for Nick, to be honest. If I have one thing that I want to say for Geylang Green, right, I think he can afford to vocalize a bit more because he is a guy in a mask, but we can all still tell that he's a human being. He made like zero noise, so I think he doesn't have to speak English, but you can growl or grunt or speak Butchanese. You do a little bit something
the facials, like we always talk about. Just the facials. Yeah.
How do you find Nick in the Ring of Rebirth environment? Because we've seen him throughout like local wrestling over the last decade. You know, he was in SPW as well. But how do you find, or like even Grapple Max, right? I think he was part of the
Yeah, yeah, for a
initial
short while he was there.
initial team. So how do you feel about his role, or like where do you see him on the card in Ring of Reaper? Will you consider him like their top star, like their main eventer, or just a veteran? What's your thoughts on that?
I think definitely. I think for me, he is currently the number one babyface in Ring of Rebirth.
Mm.
But I kind of understand his position where Ring of Rebirth is not just a third promotion, right? It's a third school. So while he is the number one face of the promotion, I think he's also in a bit of a placeholder position where he's holding that spot until the rest of the guys catch up, and hopefully someone can, one of the Ring of Rebirth originals can catch up and replace him. But for now, I think he's doing a great job training them, and I think he's a very good veteran for people to get in the ring with and work.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, let's move on to the next match. We have Urfi versus Ahmed Arif, correct?
Yes. And you know what? I have to say, this segment throughout the whole show, right, to me, was my favorite part of the whole show. I was the most impressed by this.
Okay.
So I'll talk a bit about Ahmad Arif first, right? He's in the best shape I've ever seen him. He's lost a ton of weight. But I think this is his first match back after a bit of a hiatus. So he was a bit rusty. Urfi, I've wrestled him before, and Urfi is by no means a veteran. I'm not sure if he's had more than 10 matches. I think still less than 4 years of his career. But from the time that I wrestled him, I think a couple of years ago to now, I have to say he has improved quite a lot. His new character, he really sells his character well. He plays it well. He knows when to do moves and when to sell and act and be a chicken shit and run away. He's playing this kind of evil twink character, as it were. And he actually did, I would say, lead Ahmad Arif through this match.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. I was very impressed with him, because I said earlier about the earlier match, it was a bit too fast-paced for my liking. This one had a lot of ebbs and flows, there's like, Urfi stomps the guy.
Right.
Showboat to the crowd. Then Ahmad Arif makes a shine and come back. It's kind of like they had a nice flow to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Urfi beats Ahmad Arif. And okay, so real quick, if I have one critique for Urfi, right? There are a couple of moves in the match where I think headlock takedown, or he had Ahmad Arif in a submission, and he was not facing the hard cam, which I think is something that you gotta bear in mind. Because the Ring of Rebirth, like, studio only has crowds on two sides of the ring. And one side there's a lot more people, and that's the side where the hard cam is. So you gotta remember to face your guy and face your opponent there when you're selling a hold,
Agreed. Okay.
So Urfi beats Ahmad Arif with his allegedly with his foot on the ropes. I didn't see it. I wasn't sitting front row. Maybe my vision was obscured. Who knows?
Maybe it's the shades, bro. What you wearing?
It must be the shades.
Were you wearing shades the whole time? I'm not surprised if you did.
His Shane sunglasses.
I see.
So he had his foot up on the ropes, and the referee spotted it. And the crowd actually played a big part. The crowd was telling the ref, like, hey, he had his foot on the ropes. The crowd shouted out the alleged cheating accusation to the ref, and the ref, his name is Referee Noor, he flew into a rage, bro. Like, this guy had a meltdown on site. And he started stripping. He took off his clothes, he took off his pants, he put on his gloves, and he challenged Urfi to a match right there and then.
What? So he stripped naked and put on gloves, latex gloves. That's what I'm trying to say.
To challenge Urfi.
No. MMA gloves.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought he time to challenge Urfi.
To what? Proctology exam.
Examination.
Oh my god.
No, yeah.
Okay.
So he had his gear underneath his referee attire. And he was ready for the match. They called in another ref, and Urfi had a second match of the night against referee Noor. And again, right, Noor is clearly much greener than Urfi. And again, Urfi sort of guided him through the match. He gave Noor the chance to shine, use his finish. Like, I believe it's the Lion's Claw, I think, was his finish. And again, he found a way to win. So Urfi actually looked really good. He beat 2 guys in the night. And so from a kayfabe perspective, right? Yeah, this Urfi guy beat 2 guys in one night. But from a wrestler's perspective, he actually guided two greener wrestlers to pretty decent matches. So I have to give him a lot of props for that.
Bro,
Right.
respect. And also a great thing about Urfi is like he actually his previous match, I think one of our Patreon members rated him 5 stars for his performance. So like if I mean I don't know, you said you didn't grade them, but if you were to grade his pair of matches, the fact that he was, being a ring general to two greener guys,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
would you grade him?
I think that it's got to be about, I think, 4 stars, 4 to 5, 4 to 4. This is
Wow.
one of his better performances because
Okay.
it's not just the ring stuff, right? But his character work really helped as well.
I see. Do you manage to speak with him? Because I know during these last couple of years, he kind of have not been as a regular performer because of his NS commitments. Is he
Mm.
gonna ORD soon? Because I think Urfi last year especially had a great run, wrestling at
Mm.
SPW, Ring of Rebirth. And he was building up a bit of a connection with the audience. Where do you see his future being, in terms of his NS commitments and what he's gonna do with ROR after this?
I think he has. So I talked to him a bit, and he does seem to prefer playing the heel, as all intelligent professional wrestlers should. So I think he is
Objective.
going to
Okay.
with RR for the long term. He's going to be with RR for the long term, and I can see him being there. You know what Randy Orton was to WWE in like 07, 08,
Yep.
like the top heel. I always thought he was going to be the top face, but yeah, I think he can do top heel if he wants.
Yeah,
There you go.
I,
So
f- I
someone
feel
like,
yeah, I feel the thing about Ring of Rebirth is like I like the fact that there's a third company. I like the fact that there's this other option for people to to go and work and perform. But the problem with it is like it's such a small pool in Ring of Rebirth. So like
yeah.
when the stars that you get, like for example, like the Knicks and the Earthies, you can count them on one hand, and then it's like a
Mm,
sea of kids, right? Or like people who are greener. So
yeah.
it's almost very hard for them to reach the next level because I feel like somebody like Urfi, if he gets to do reps in SPW or like get to do regular matches in Grapple Max and
Mm,
and I do hope this is something that the other promotions can consider, in 2025 where there's a lot of talent exchanges happening. Then I feel
yeah.
he can hit that next level. But because he's in Ring of Rebirth, as great as he's gonna be, it's just gonna be at a certain level because
Yep.
like how many times can you wrestle Eurasian Dragon and Nick? You know what I mean?
Yes, yes, yes,
So
I get it.
yeah, that's my
No, I
concern with
do
Murphy.
agree with you.
Yeah, yeah.
I do agree
And
with you, and something. Yeah. So I want something that I would like to see, right? Maybe
mm,
not just collaboration shows between more promotions, but collaboration like in training. Like, there was once where some of the SPW guys came over to Grapple Max for some training. And
yeah,
maybe we
yeah,
do more of that. We go over to SPW. Ring of Rebirth comes to us. We go to Ring of Rebirth.
Yep.
And just kind of share our different styles and what we know.
yeah. No, bro, that would be super healthy for the
Mm.
local wrestling scene. Like if you guys have a lot of these kind of like seminars together, and I feel they all can benefit in one way or the other. Or make it like freaking like you guys are all open public gyms. Like I
Ha.
can go to freaking one championship and then go to like kickbox at another gym and it's like all
Yeah,
cool,
yeah,
Yeah.
Why not?
yeah. We rent out
Talk.
like UFC gym or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Talk to us about this musical interlude that apparently occurred.
Right. So Afi was he was not happy with his win over referee Nora. He kept beating
Sure.
on
Yep.
him. And
Yep.
you should, because if someone accuses you of cheating, that's what you should do. Right?
Okay.
That's what I mean. I've never cheated in my life, but I think that's the right
Ah.
thing to do.
I see.
So
Okay.
he's beating on Nora, and one of the new RR students who I think had yet to make her debut, her name was Joy. She ran into the ring. She had enough of Urfi's shit, picked him up in a 5-man scary, spun him around, and Urfi got the hell out of there. And she,
Oh.
yeah, and Joy was left standing there alone in the ring. She said, "You know what? I'm gonna entertain the crowd now.
What the?
Get me a fucking guitar." And a fucking guitar appeared.
Of course.
And then she sat down in the ring. She held the guitar up, and she serenaded the audience to the sound of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Is
then,
this one of
wait,
those
there's more.
things? Ah.
Wait, there's more.
Oh God.
Because Alfred shows up, and Alfred decides that he wants to join the musical interlude. And he starts singing Tell Me Why by the Backstreet Boys.
Oh my God.
So, Mr.
Okay.
Young, I think you had some thoughts on this.
You mean I want it that way, right? Because tell me
Yeah, so I
why
want that.
I want it that way.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
first of all,
Prabhu showing
And
his
think was
age,
better.
Mr. Young. Prabhu is
yeah.
showing his age.
Okay.
I'm not
So
a basketball
it
guy.
feels
And
like
think
one
was
of those
better.
things. It feels like one of those things you need to be there to see it and experience it. Because right now, as you tell me this thing, it sounds a bit hokey, but
Mm,
it's one of those things you have to see it live in person to
yeah. No,
appreciate.
but
I think.
I think it is kind of intentionally hokey, but
Okay.
the crowd was into it.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Me, not so much because I'm very old school. I don't like musical interludes in my wrestling show. Uh, but I understand why they did this. You know what I mean? Because the point of
Yeah.
it was that the crowd is into it. They're all singing
Yeah.
along. Eurasian Dragon comes out as the wet blanket, tells them to stop. We can't have
uh,
this. He's playing the heel. This is designed to get him heat. But
Mm.
actually, for me, it turned him into more of a baby face because I mean, I was grateful that he put a stop to this.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing I wanted to ask as well, because it's been a while since I watched a Ring of Rebirth show. When
Mm,
they had their debut in 2022, I believe.
mhm.
One of the things
mm.
that I thought was really special about their show was after every match, there will be like an interviewer, like interviewing them post match, like a bit of like a Mean Gene Okerlund
Yep.
interviewing a
Yes,
wrestler
yes.
post match. Was that still a part of the show? Did they do that?
Yes, they still had the pre-match and post-match interviews, which I like. It's very old school studio wrestling vibes, right?
No,
Uh, but the one thing that I would say is that they used to have a guy called Datuk Nasir who was the interviewer.
I
Yep.
remember him. Yeah.
And he was he's one of the students there, so he did a great job because he is a worker as well, right? So you can play off of him and he'll respond back. He was good to work with.
Mm,
The newer guy, I'm not quite familiar with him,
mm.
but I like that they still have it, but I preferred Dato Nasser. I thought he did a good job.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Where is he, by the way? Because I do still see his IGs around. Is he involved in local wrestling still?
I am not too sure actually. I think he is sort of
Mm.
on hiatus.
Yeah, I see, I see. And also before we talk about the last match, how was the crowd in general? Was like how many people were there? How were they reacting to the matches and the vibe? Like, do you see Ring of Rebirth having a very distinct flavor of a crowd compared to Grapple Max and SPW?
I do actually, I do. So I was
Uh-huh.
about 20 to 30 people there.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I would like to see them in a slightly bigger arena. I think they can handle a bigger arena, a slightly bigger crowd.
Okay.
Especially guys like Nick, I think, or even Varun with his chops, right? I think
Mm.
that deserves like a bigger atmosphere. It would really get over.
Mm.
But
Mm.
to answer your point, right, I do see them having a bit of their own niche. Like we talked about how Grapple Max had its own niche. Like you really want like, family friendly quality pro wrestling.
Mm.
And SPW is more attitude era style.
Mm.
Mm.
Ring of Rebirth is a bit more if you like the more zany, wacky, out there characters.
I
Like
see.
the Mr. Geylangs and Alfred and all Brother Bai and all these guys.
Yeah.
So it has
Mm.
its own audience, but the crowd there, they were participating.
I
Yeah. They
see.
weren't like dead or quiet or anything.
Mm. So it's a bit more like 80s Southern wrestling,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
got
yeah, yeah.
you got your fun over the top characters. I get it, I get it.
Yeah.
And
By the way,
yeah.
Dato has left ROR. They mentioned in chat. FYI.
I see, I see, I
Can
see.
we talk about the main event then? So we got Eurasian Dragon versus Varun. Varun, I've not seen him wrestle before, but a lot of people talk about him. Like he's the guy, right? Tell us about this
Right,
match.
Mm-hmm.
right. So Eurasian Dragon comes in, so he interrupts the musical interlude, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And he starts cutting a promo. And this is something that I have to really commend the Dragon for because he's very, very comfortable when he talks in front of a crowd. Have you ever seen those like stand-up comedians
Yeah.
where
Yes.
they're just like just talking to the crowd and they're not really saying a joke, just interacting. And as they interact, they make it entertaining.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
agreed.
Basically, what he did, he's talking about how stressed he was, his elite championship level preparation that he had to take for this match,
Sure.
how scared he was of Varun because Varun is undefeated. And
Mm.
he is a heel, but he's a very tongue-in-cheek heel. It's very
I
entertaining.
see. Okay,
And
okay.
it is funny to see. The irony is never lost on me.
Mm.
How, if you remember in his SPW career, right, he was this like anti-authority
Yeah.
babyface who went up against the boss GM Carl Heller.
Yes, I
And then now
remember
he
you.
has become the evil boss himself.
The irony, right? The
The
Yeah.
irony
irony.
of it, yeah.
Yeah,
And so,
said
yeah.
that Varun is the best stalker in Singapore. Do you agree with that statement, Prabhu?
Actually, no, I don't agree with that statement. I'll tell you why, right? So Varun comes out, he cuts a promo, And as Varun talks, he says it was a good promo. I understood what he meant, and it was very well written. But I think that is the problem in that his promos, I feel I can tell that they are written out and scripted beforehand,
Right.
and he says them out. I think he could do better if he took more time to slow down, like look at the crowd, like acknowledge the room, and then just kind of talk a bit more on the fly. Because I think that's the one thing. His promos don't feel they're very well written, but they don't feel organic, and the delivery feels a bit memorized. But the
Okay.
content is very good.
Do you think it just is a matter of getting the reps in? He just needs to do more, cut more promos.
I think so. I think live being in front of a live audience will help. And I think
Yes.
just talk on the fly, man. Like a lot of my promos we just cut on the fly.
Okay. Okay.
But with
And
that being said,
yeah,
no,
and also a lot of things, a lot of the comments about Varun seems to be about his physicality, his how imposing he looks, and a lot of people were saying like, oh, like BGJ, you have BGJ SPW, you got Prabhu in Grapple Max, and then for Ring of Rebirth, you got Varun Kana. So like, what do you think about his physicality in the ring?
I think he has improved quite a bit. I think that he can really I think Varun is a nice guy. He has this problem that I think I used to have back in the day. I think you guys said Destroy Dharma used to have it too, where he's a big guy, but he's a very nice guy. So
I
he doesn't
see.
come across as a killer, you know what I mean? And I get that he's a baby face right now, but I think for a guy his size, that's the one way which he can improve. Where if he really just says, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna chop means I'm gonna chop. I'm really gonna, shoulders back, snarl at the crowd, that kind of big man vibe. I think he has room for improvement in that area. But I'm not gonna discredit where he has improved so far. Where I think this was the longest match of his career, and he held up. I didn't see him look gassed or anything. His moves were technically sound, safe. He can. He was at one point scoop slammed by the Eurasian Dragon, and that takes credit to Varun also because he's the one that has the base off of him, right? It's not easy to do.
Yeah.
So, and his facial expressions were money. His facial expressions were really good. So I think for Varun, there is room for improvement, but that's also because for him, right, a guy as young as he is, as well spoken as he is, and as big as he is, his ceiling is actually very, very high. So I love to see him like just get better. I think he'll get better with time.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, and I know this match is like against Eurasian Dragon, so I can all agree Eurasian Dragon is gonna be the standard bearer at Ring of Rebirth because he has like the most complete package in terms of character, wrestling, and all that. But where does Varun Khanna rank in comparison with with Dragon? I mean, like in terms of his potential, do you think he can be a top star in Ring of Rebirth and beyond?
No, I think definitely he can be a top star in Ring of Rebirth. I think his let me think. I think they're trying to position him as the next top babyface because the promo that he cut was really him sticking up for the locker room and saying the Eurasian Dragon is holding us back, he's a corrupt boss, etc. etc.
Okay.
And I think as someone said that he's the best promo in all of Singapore, right? I don't necessarily agree, but I think he is the best promo in Ring of Rebirth. And I think he's like, in a way, like I said, Earthy is a bit Randy Orton-esque, right? I think Earthy's a better worker, but I think Varun is a better promo and he's the right guy to play this role of somebody sticking up for the promotion.
So he's the John Cena of the promotion.
I think
That's what I'm saying.
I think he's John Cena, but he's John Cena when he was still like I don't want to say Kurt Angle, but like when he faced the Big Show at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Getting there. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's getting there. He's getting there.
And can you tell us about what the hell was that after the show? Like what there was like a street fight, like a backstage fight that happened. What was that all about?
Yeah, so okay, so let's finish this match, right? Eurasian Dragon beats Varun, allegedly with some sort of interference. I don't know, I didn't see. But
Okay.
I think that was the right decision. I think Varun will be the face of Ring of Rebirth one day, but not just yet.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think that was the right choice for Dragon to beat him. Dragon, I think, is actually one of his better performances. He did really guide Varun throughout. But Mr. Geylang and Dragon have some sort of alliance. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
And they were talking about it during the post-show interview, right? Where the next main event would probably be Geylang versus Varun. They have some beef together. And Geylang did, in fact, grab a kendo stick and choke Varun out.
Wow.
during the match with Eurasian Dragon. So they've got
Okay.
unfinished business, and after the post show interview, we're all just hanging outside, chilling, and shit hit the ceiling, tempers flat. They got
Okay.
into it, and that I think is going to be a heated affair at their next show.
I see. So, what is the future of Ring of Rebirth? Is this the last show for the year? Are we looking straight into 2025 with Ring of Rebirth?
Oh
It
no,
has to be,
they
right? Yeah,
plan
it
to
is.
they
So,
plan to have a Christmas show,
Oh.
so that will
ah,
be the last show of the year, and so 2025. They said this at the press conference. No, the question at the end of the show,
mm,
where will there be a championship belt in Ring of Rebirth? And Dragon
Mm.
said yes, they are looking to introduce their first championship to Ring of Rebirth in 2025.
nice. Okay, great. I think that's really good to hear in terms of like
Mm.
setting up Ring of Rebirth as a legitimate, third promotion.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts of like, Ring of Rebirth overall in 2024, and what do you think they can do to improve themselves or to have more visibility among the other two promotions as well?
All right. I think actually more collaboration. Maybe with
Yeah.
outside wrestlers as well, because and now that they're going to introduce a belt, right? This is a great incentive for foreign wrestlers or just external wrestlers to come in and work with them.
Mm-hmm.
I think their strong suit has always been character work.
Yep.
So
I see.
like okay, like what we said about Varun's promos, right? Yeah, he's easily the best promo in Ring of Rebirth. But let's have him cut more promos.
Yep.
Elfie is I think the best in-ring worker. Let's get him, more bookings,
Yeah.
maybe at Grapple Max, maybe at SPW,
Mm.
Malaysia, MyPW, who knows, send him overseas if we can.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
get them out there, and I think let the young guys get the reps in whatever way we can. Because if I would, let me just sit in my Booker chair, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the same way when Grapple Max introduced our first championship, the first guy to hold the belt was Dave, which is the most seasoned, most experienced guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he held on to it until like the rest of the locker room caught up, and then Hotshot takes over,
Mm.
and now all these attack champs.
Wow, what was that
Because
cough? Okay.
some sickness or disease
All
or
right.
something.
I get
But
you, Prabhu. I get you. Okay.
yeah, but you get what I mean. So when Ring of Rebirth does introduce their first championship, I wouldn't put it on like as much as I praise Earthy and Varun, I wouldn't put the belt on them yet. I would put it on a Nick or Dragon,
Mm.
and maybe we can get a Nick Dragon feud to kind of stall and
Yeah.
give the rest of the guys time to catch up and grow.
I like
That makes
hearing that.
sense.
I
Yeah.
like hearing that. Last question about Ring of Rebirth as well, right? Like, we talk about the Singapore Wrestler Top 20, and we talk about, seeing the future of like the best of local wrestling in 2024. If you were to campaign for one person, or I don't know, 1 or 2% from Ring of Rebirth to be deserving of making that list, who you think it should be and why?
Mm. From Ring of Rebirth, I'm gonna. Okay. I can actually give you 4 names I think could make the list or should make the list, which should be
Okay.
Nick, Dragon, Earthy, and Varun. I think these guys really are the standout guys from Ring of Rebirth, and I haven't given my ratings for this show on the Patreon yet, but yeah, maybe that will help them get in the rankings or something.
Bump it up a bit, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah, there you go. Thank you so much for covering the Ring of Rebirth stuff for us, man. We really appreciate it. And I know you had fun
Yeah, no
at the show.
worries, man. Of course, I just want to say big shout out. Oh yeah, no, I had fun, and of course, big shout out to Ring of Rebirth, the Dragon, all the boys in the locker room. I've always enjoyed being there, even when I was working there and just hanging out with them, shoot the shit. Always a
Yeah.
good time. Some of the funniest promos we ever had was cut at Ring of Rebirth, so there's a lot of fun times here.
Right.
I love it.
All
And
right,
I wanted to also lastly say, like, thank you so much for hustling for us, because we've gotten confirmation that Earthy and Varun has indicated their interest in attending this Sunday's Kick to the God Awards event as well.
All
So we'll
right,
be seeing
nice.
Ring of Rebirth representation for the event as well this Sunday.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much.
And talking about
So,
the Kick to the God Awards and the Singapore Wrestler, awards, right? It's happening this Sunday. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, be sure to go slide into our DMs on our Kick to the God Instagram page, on the Discord and whatnot. The Kick to the God Awards this upcoming Sunday. We're doing it at 12 o'clock at the Grapple Max Pro Wrestling Studios. It's just $20. Come hang out, makan, chill out with your fellow wrestlers/wrestling fans. And this is a great way to wrap up the season, basically.
Yeah, and of course, it's also right after Survivor Series. Survivor
Oh,
Series is happening that morning. So
yes.
whether you're watching it in the morning and then coming over to join us to talk about Survivor Series with us, or maybe, Grapple Max might open their doors a bit early if you want to hang out and have a bit of a watch party as well. Hey, either DM us, DM Grapple Max for more information. It's going to be a fun morning, Sunday morning and afternoon of wrestling.
Absolutely. All right,
Absolutely.
we still have WWE Survivor Series to get to, which will be, like we talked about this upcoming Sunday. Before we do that, though, as usual, let's give a shout out to a sponsor of the podcast, Hasif_Captures. Go drop him a follow on social media, you guys. He is a independent financial advisor. So even if it's, something to do with your financial portfolio, or if you want to just chat with him about fitness, about entrepreneurship, he is down for a teh or kopi, whatever it is you drink. Right? Yes, got such thing as a free lunch with Hasif.
For sure, for sure. And of course, he is a big fan of building communities. He is very invested in our local wrestling community as well. I think he's been to SPW Crowning Glory. He's seen, how fun it is to watch local wrestling here in Singapore. And
Yep.
he does want us to, grow and succeed. And he is committed to succeed with us as well. So we always want to give our shout outs to people who are supporting our wrestling community. So please do the same for him. Give him a follow, slide in his DM, and help him out with his with all his future endeavors as well. So shout out to you, Hasif.
Absolutely. In the meantime, all right, come, let's talk about Survivor Series. This will be the big Sunday morning, extravaganza that we're all very excited for. And can we just say this too? Like, the lead up to Survivor Series has just been nothing short of, I know the word gets thrown around a lot, but it's cinema.
What do you think, Prabhu? What do you think of Prabhu of the build up for for Survivor Series so far?
I think they really made the audience stay on their toes and keep guessing, oh, is it gonna be 4v4? Oh no. Bronson has joined the bloodline. Now who's gonna 4v5? Who's gonna be the fifth guy?
Bro.
Punk comes down and they've given us breadcrumbs, they've teased us.
SmackDown was so good. Like, I'm sorry, but once again, I hate to compare, right? But right now, WWE, every episode is at least giving us one or two things to look forward to the next thing. This is the difference between some chapalang anyhow. You can tell over there, everyone's just kind of doing their own thing. There's no through line, there's no thread. It's kind of like the DCEU versus early MCU, where everything is tying in together. You talk about what happened on SmackDown. Even 2 weeks ago, when the whole Roman Reigns gets beat down and he's in the locker room. How good was that segment? He's like, finally he picks up the phone after weeks of not wanting to call the wise man. And the pop that got just by him saying a few. This is what pro wrestling is. It's not doing 5,000 moves to get a pop and basically killing the move. It's making the emotional connection to a point where you can just say something and people just lose their shit.
Bro, can you imagine an arena full of fans cheering and going crazy when somebody just say 3 words?
Watching a screen. They're not even in the ring, bro. That's how you sell tickets. That's how you get people to watch, right? And then the number you have dialed is not available. Dude, then you can hear everybody just go, oh.
Yeah.
And then you see the credits.
I like it. Why I like about this Survivor Series build-up is WWE has managed to legitimately swerve us all. What I mean by that is, the moment they had Bronson Reed on the Bloodline side, right?
Yeah.
Everyone and their mother would thought somehow, some way, Seth Rollins is gonna be the guy on the other side. Yeah. But then a very vocal portion of the audience had a point by saying why would Seth, after everything that he's been through with Roman, suddenly drop logic and then be part of their team, right? Not only have they answered that question, they swerve us by bringing CM Punk to be the replacement. And you know what that means? How Seth Rollins will feel now, right?
Yeah, so this choice of putting CM Punk in, it makes so much sense. CM Punk is the original Paul Heyman guy. You wanted the wise man to come back and help you, ma. So of course he's going to bring the guy that he trusts the most. Literally a few weeks ago or a few months ago on SmackDown, he's like, please help me, get me out of this, to CM Punk. Do you remember this? Whole promo.
Exactly.
Yeah. And once again, to go back to what you're saying, this is obviously planting the seeds for Seth Rollins going, hey, what the hell? Seth, we all know, hates, quote unquote, hates CM Punk, right? Yeah. And then now they've replaced Seth, even though Seth didn't want to do it, he's going to be all like, but actually I was kind of going to do it. Yeah, oh my god,
Yeah.
it's brilliant. It's layered storytelling,
Bro,
is
okay, you know
what
what?
they're doing.
You know what it is, bro. I think you all can relate, bro. Is that hot girl, bro? Is that
What?
hot girl that you've been trying to work up the courage to ask, hey, can I go on a date with you? And she's like, nah, I don't know. And then you're like, okay, nah, never mind. It's okay. I got my pride. I move on. Then I find another hot girl that I got together with.
Oh,
And then
right.
the hot girl now, the first hot girl was like, hey, I thought you wanted me. And I'm like, I was gonna
Yeah.
choose you if you said yes. I'm like, nah, not really. You know
Uh,
what I mean? That's
Heard
exactly
that
what
speaking
happened
from
with CM Punk.
experience.
yes,
Bro,
yeah. Okay, a
Is
heel
the
Seth
the
Rollins.
Riz Bible.
Yeah.
the Rizzler, bro. The
The risk.
Rizzler.
Oh god.
The Riz
The
Okay.
the idea that we're gonna get a heel Seth, I'm very excited for, obviously, right? But there's another wrinkle here as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Did you notice? And I'm sure maybe you saw the conspiracy theories. Did you see how Paul Heyman was dressed?
Bro, he looked like Paul Bearer managing Kane, bro. And also Solo Sikoa, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the point. Like literally, he's dressing up like Solo Sikoa, which is, I mean, they've used visual hints before. With you remember Solo dressed up like The Rock one time? Everyone pointed that out. See, okay, here's the difference, right, between subtle storytelling, Easter egg storytelling, versus deep cuts, so deep that you don't know that you catering to only the diehard fans that AEW is doing. Like they expect you to understand the lore, whereas WWE is like you don't have to go that far. This shit is on the show that you are watching, and if you're a long-time fan, you get it. But it's not so in your face that if you don't get it, it doesn't affect the story at all.
Yeah. They're just catering to only fans, bro. I mean only space fans.
Yeah, I think the best of the Marvel Cinematic Universe has done exactly that. They tell the story that you need to understand, but if you know the Easter eggs, if you are a long-time fan, you get more value out of it, and that converts you. And that converts more fans. So you're rewarded for your investment. You don't feel like a complete dork because you knew that Easter egg meant something. It's like, oh, no, I'm rewarded. Ha ha ha. The fan service right now is next level.
Yeah. And one last thing I wanted to say about this whole setup, right, is that do you realize Roman Reigns has not reacted or has not given his side of the story to how he feels about this?
Yeah.
Like there's gonna be seeds planted for Roman versus CM Punk down the road now. It's perfect, right?
Yeah,
Because
you gotta wait for it. Everything is, you can tell the team of writers, Triple H, with the vision in mind, right? They are willing to let it cook. Versus, I think somebody brought it up in chat, a billionaire booking everything, whatever he shook, he booked.
Whatever he should, he books.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, I haven't seen much of Raw. So if you guys on the chat have watched Raw, tell us if there's any big developments we should take note of. But this morning, I think yesterday night, I think WWE put out a long YouTube video and as well as some social media content on CM Punk's 1-year anniversary. Do you guys see this?
Yes, his
But
return,
he was posting about it on his Instagram, I believe, right? This
Correct.
morning.
all the behind the scenes
Correct.
stuff lah.
Yeah. And the wild thing my takeaway from that was that CM Punk was like ushered to the backstage, right? And then he kept checking with Triple H. Hey, so where do I walk? And then Triple H was like, hey, Shark Tank, walk in front of the Shark Tank. So it's like it's so chaotic and so crazy. And like there was this one moment where CM Punk was like letting in all kind of breathe in. And I think the moment really hit him when after the show, like everyone's kind of streaming back. You saw the Cody Rhodes had an interaction.
Yeah, Randy.
You saw Randy. You even saw Dominic Mysterio, which was like a very nice deep cut as well, if you know their history. And Randy, I think Randy gave the biggest stamp of approval. He was like, can't you just give me 10 fucking minutes to enjoy my return? And remember, everyone during that period was thinking like, oh my, will Randy be pissed off? Because Randy's return and then CM Punk disturbed him. But like the fact that Randy gave that stamp of approval, I think made CM Punk feel like, this is fine. This is home for him.
See, what that shows me is a matured man who understands the business. Maybe a younger Randy Orton might have reacted differently. Right. We can all agree that, in his youth, he was a little bit of an impulsive kind of guy. But he knows that he's already reached that level. So he's not threatened in any shape or form. He knows that CM Punk coming back is good for business. And anything that's good for business is good for him.
Agreed. What do you think, Prabhu, about the build-up for Survivor Series and like CM Punk now back into the fold, being part of this bloodline storyline?
I did not expect it, but I'm pleasantly surprised. I can't wait to see CM Punk make Roman Reigns look strong again in 2024. But that's interesting thing, like you said, right? Paul was dressed like Solo Sikoa. I do wonder if, okay, Punk and Heyman are always in cahoots with each other.
Yeah.
So what if this is Heyman's way of sabotaging the original bloodline, and his man to do it is CM Punk? The CM Punk is, despite whether he's heel or face, right? He doesn't really change his character.
Yeah.
He's always been like a kind of a heel at heart, you know.
Yep.
No, that makes sense. So you're saying that CM Punk could be the
Sabotager.
the saboteur.
The agent. Yeah.
I like that. I like that thinking. Yeah. Do you feel like the only way for Roman to be fully embraced as a babyface is instead of gaslighting everyone? Because so far he has not said sorry. He hasn't said sorry to Sami Zayn, to Jey Uso. Yeah. I think he needs that one segment where he just breaks down in the middle of the ring and cries like, "Sorry guys, I've not been a benevolent." I mean, maybe it's silent tears, manly tears. I have not been a benevolent leader. I've done you all wrong, and I truly apologize. I think he needs to do that segment, bro.
Well, to that end,
I don't know. I'm not sure, because a lot of the reason why people liked Roman Reigns, even as a heel, right, was because he was this like OP Thanos kind of character. So I think if you have him emote too much,
Don't forget that Thanos did a lot of emoting as well when he had to sacrifice Gamora. So it's not a whole, the best villains are the ones who are heroes in their own mind, right? Yeah. I think just to build off your sacrifice you, just to build off your point, Foreign, like imagine if Roman finally has that moment where he does apologize, where he shows his weakness, and that's where Paul Heyman stabs him in the back. That's how you make him the ultra babyface, right?
I think so too. I think, if he were to apologize to Paul Heyman for like letting you down, letting you get beat up,
then they
apologize to everyone, and then I think that would be quite
that's
wild.
when you stick the knife in his back. That's how you make him like, wow, next level, bro. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps.
Okay. I mean, let's not overthink ourselves. We probably will arrive too early.
One more thing. So it's not just the bloodline. That promo by Cody versus Kevin Owens. Like I know a lot of people criticize Cody. He's overscripted. He's too verbose. He talks too much shit. I felt fired up. I felt emotional, and that's what WWE has done such a good job of, basically getting you to feel something when you watch the show, as opposed to just putting on a bunch of moves, which is
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Let's talk about how, like, okay, I mean, Kevin Owens and that Cody Rhodes segment, right? There was a lot of truth being told in that segment. I think the best thing that Cody Rhodes said was like the only thing stopping Kevin Owens has always been Kevin Owens himself.
Yeah.
And that it has been played out throughout his entire career in WWE, right?
True. I loved it. And it's paying off at Saturday night's main event, right? So it's not going to lead to a match at Survivor Series. The payoff is at Saturday night's main event. The title match.
And it has been announced officially.
Yes, it's been announced.
You realize that they are not throwing everything in the kitchen sink at one pay-per-view, they're spreading it out.
They don't need to. They are in such a good spot. So let's talk about the pay-per-view then.
Let's talk about the card. Yep.
The returning Shinsuke Nakamura, looking way more menacing. Looks like he hasn't slept in a while. I think he put the black eyeliner or what make himself.
He looks like a Sith Lord now.
Yeah, he does.
Bro, the Sith Lord is the Anakin Skywalker get up for me.
He's been corrupted by the dark side versus LA Knight, for the United States Championship. Okay, LA Knight, right? Seems like he's been in these perpetual lower mid-card feuds. Is this the one finally that he gets to flex a little bit more?
I think so. I think it has to be, right? Because if you looked at the guys that he's been working with, the never-ending Carmelo Hayes and Andrade Express, even if he meets those guys, right, they are not like credible higher-level opponents. Whereas Shinsuke, IWGP World Champion, Royal Rumble winner, WrestleMania main eventer, there's a bit more credibility. And Shinsuke is a very good worker. Like, I think LA Knight is a good wrestler, but he's not necessarily like a high work rate kind of guy. But Shinsuke, I think, can bring the best out of him in the ring. So I think this will be like a good series.
I'm a bit worried for this match, to be honest. So, like, Shinsuke just came back. He can't take a loss here, can he?
I don't Okay, that's the thing, right? It depends on how WWE views Shinsuke at this point in his career. Is he the
Yeah.
guy that is proverbially
Like
just
a
trying to
Dolph.
put people over? Yeah.
Like Dolph.
Or do you think that because last year they managed to bring him out all the way that he can challenge Cody Rhodes and have like a long feud with him. So if they shock people by suddenly getting LA Knight to drop his belt to Shinsuke, I don't mind that being like a series that can happen. Like they can have this feud that goes into January as well. At the
And
start
we
of
haven't
Netflix.
had one of these things where they trade the title back and forth in a while.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Even though Triple H loves his long title reigns, I feel like US title period can afford, to do a bit of back and forth. Why not? Gives a bit of rub to Shinsuke. I think LA Knight having a bit of challenge and difficulty and roadblocks will help him grow in his career. So I don't mind that as well.
Okay, call it.
No, I agree with that. Yeah.
Probably call it. Who wins?
Shinsuke.
And wins the title.
I think he has to win the title.
Okay, Foreign?
It'll be a list of. Do you guys remember when was it Mark Henry cut the fantastic retirement promo?
Oh yeah.
Challenge John Cena to a match. Then he lost. Then that was the end of it.
Yeah.
So I think that Shinsuke coming back, new character and everything, like they have to capitalize on that momentum.
Yeah, I do not see anyone beyond Shinsuke at this moment that can feasibly challenge for LA Knight's title. I think LA Knight needs to stay in this story for a bit and it's just getting started. So yeah, Shinsuke for me.
As the champion? Wow. Okay, I'm going to say LA Knight, but DQ, because Shinsuke is going to murder LA Knight, basically. That's my call.
I like that out.
A non-finish, yeah. So you let Shinsuke look good, but he doesn't necessarily take the title off LA Knight.
I like that as well.
Like warning shots, like he's throwing warning shots.
Yeah, we all agree that Shinsuke will be looking strong style.
We hope so. And then watch us all be wrong and LA Knight wins clean flat in the ring. That's it.
No, let's hope not.
Okay,
next match.
Yes, let's talk about Braun Breaker versus Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser. Ludwig Kaiser, can we talk about how impressive he's been for the past couple of weeks?
Yeah. Since his return and he's having that dissension with Gunther, I feel like we are starting to see him more and more as his own individual character.
Yeah.
And bro, he's a born villain. He looks so good.
Right.
He can cut great promos.
Yes.
Yeah, he's such a throwback as well. Like, I can imagine him like in the 90s, like hanging out with Nicholas Volkov and like Iron Sheik, doing that whole gimmick. I want him to get the rub out of all these three guys somehow. I don't know why.
Yeah, Sheamus, I know, is the perpetual sort of like he's there, but he's there to put people over now.
He's there, but
Sorry,
I kind of have to agree with. I got to agree with Foreign. I think so. I've been watching Ludwig Kaiser for a while, right? And I think his in-ring work is actually really, really good. He's always been like very crisp, very clean, very simple.
Yeah.
But all the Imperium guys are like that, very basic stuff, but they do it so well. I think now his character work, his facials and all that are really starting to catch up.
Yeah.
And I can see that and he's a third, I believe, second generation wrestler actually. His father was a wrestler in Germany back in the day. And him and Braun Breaker can have a great feud, I think. Two young guys, two second generation wrestlers. One is a big powerhouse, the other one is a slimy technical guy.
Yeah.
I think that works well.
Yeah.
And I would love to see that singles. Sheamus in the middle of all this. I mean, I'm a big Sheamus mark. I'm never going to complain about more Sheamus. But I think his days on the roster are numbered, and he's just there to add, I think, his star power and name value to the match.
Problem with Breaker versus Kaiser is that both are heels, right? So
in the way that Braun has been promoting recently, it gives more babyface vibes than heel vibes, to be honest.
Yes, but it has not been established yet. So I think they need to have that turn before they can push off. So that's why I think it makes sense to have Sheamus in the middle of all this at this point in time, because he is the babyface that they can reference from.
But imagine a future here where like Gunther loses his title and Ludwig wins the Intercontinental title. That's where you can build the dissension. Say, hey, I have a championship. You don't have a championship now, Sort of the idea.
I like that. So
I do have to say, right, I would love. There's a part of me, the 16-year-old, 15-year-old part of me that really wants to see Sheamus win the IC belt. I think this is the one championship he's never held.
Yes,
agree.
Yeah.
Okay, call it, Foreign.
I mean, my heart wants Kaiser to get a rub to get the championship. My brain says Breaker to retain.
Yeah. Prabu.
My brain says Breaker to retain, but my heart says Sheamus. So I'm gonna go with Sheamus.
Wow.
One last title run for the Great White.
All
Right.
right. What about you, Young?
Yeah, my heart wants, I think Foreign and I, we are quite aligned. My heart wants Ludwig Kaiser to win, but I think Braun Breaker is going to retain.
I think that's the most likely case.
Yeah.
We shall see. Well, it's gonna be a great banger match. I think it's gonna be one of the work rate
I think
matches.
it's a banger, yeah.
Banger
it's a
after banger.
banger. All
Not
right.
burger
That's a
after burger.
match.
Okay, Gunther versus Damian Priest. So we're going to go through all the singles, quote-unquote singles matches first, for the World Heavyweight Championship. I saw a clip on social media just now. Damian Priest basically did the Razor's Edge to Gunther into a table. So they are ramping up the physicality of this match already.
Yeah, and I think Damien has been presented so strong since losing the title, which is so ironic.
Yeah.
I think he's actually looks better challenging for this title than when he was the champion facing off against
Defending it, right?
Gunther.
Yeah. Is he one of those guys? Is he one of those guys that is better in the chase as opposed to being the champ?
I mean, it's only one example so far. I
Yeah.
just felt that maybe he needed that loss to kind of like give a bit more wrinkle to his character. I think now he has developed further, and people are genuinely very, very supportive of him as a full-fledged babyface.
It's interesting. Obviously, this time around, their feud seems to have more meat. Damian Priest versus Gunther. Remember the first time around, we were we were like, okay, this is a cool match, but Now it seems like, now they are starting to build their history, which is what I love to see, right?
Yeah. It's very new still, very, very new. But you know that whole starting, remember that promo where they Gunther called him street trash and that kind of nonsense?
Yeah.
But he has come back to haunt him because what will you be without your title? Especially when you loses to street trash. So there's a bit of that dynamic right now. Classism.
Yeah, and then there's the whole thing where Gunther told Ludwig Kaiser off because Ludwig Kaiser called Damian Priest street trash. And after their first match, Gunther developed respect for them. So there are wrinkles to these characters now. So it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Jay White and Hangman Page could never.
You just had to. Okay, Prabhu, call it Gunther, Damian Priest.
Oof. You know me, Gunther is my ring general, so I'm going to say I think it's still too early for him to drop the belt as well, even though Damian Priest is making a very strong case for himself.
Yes.
But I'm still gonna say the ring general retains.
Yeah.
Is Div Royalty still in the chat? Because I'm sorry to disappoint you, it's Gunther for me. No Damian Priest title run at this point in time.
Oh my god, we are all in alignment here. I mean, we all love our Damian Priest, but yes, Gunther needs to establish that long, reigning title reign basically. He needs to eclipse 666. Fiaz, what's up? Thanks for joining us in chat. Zayden, it's good to see you as well. Okay, let's talk about the WarGames Survivor Series.
Let's go.
How about this as an alternative? Instead of doing 2 WarGames match, do 1 traditional Survivor Series match and 1 WarGames match. How about that?
Completely agree, bro.
I prefer that.
I love that as well. Yeah, why do they let go of that tradition of the 5v5? But that's actually one of the best things about Survivor Series for me.
I remember growing up, okay, and this is like a deep cut, whatever, showing my age, but I remember back then the theme was all the different 4v4 matches, 5v5 matches, right? And then the sole survivors will team up at the end of the night to face off against each other.
Wow.
Do you remember this?
No, I think it's before my
These
time.
are some
Actually,
of-
I do not. Actually,
No,
yes,
okay.
showing his.
Oh my god. So basically, because you have to imagine back in the 80s, it was very clear cut who's babyface, who's heel, right? So let's say you had 3 Survivor Series matches, the 5v5s, all the survivors from the heel side versus all the survivors from the face side will happen at the end of the night.
Agreed.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so I like that concept. Even in my time watching Survivor Series when it was Team Bishop versus Team Austin at Survivor Series 2003, it culminated after months of storyline. It was like months of Eric Bischoff's guys, Evolution running wild, and then finally all the babyfaces coming together. They have all had their issues with Evolution, and then finally Stone Cold was like, okay, fine, you guys let's fight him. If we lose, there's storyline threads and stakes and all that, and it culminated in a 5v5. It was an emotional 5v5 because all those eliminations are what sold the stories during the match.
So, I mean, to that point, right? I feel like the women's match could have been a traditional Survivor Series match. It doesn't need to be in WarGames. But that said, okay, we got Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Io Sky, and Bayley versus Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae, which they've tried to insert into that whole Tiffany and Nia Jax thing.
Yeah, somebody stands out and not with good reason in this lineup.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What do you think? Is this just an excuse for Io Sky to dive off this cage? Because you know she's gonna do that. Probably with a trash can on her.
Yeah, I kind of think so because I feel like the as compared to like the men's Survivor Series match, right? I mean, the stakes and the emotional build-up for that one is really high, and it's not really the women's fault. Like they can't compete, lah. I mean, the bloodline is a generational storyline, right?
Yeah.
So,
But I mean-
but since the stakes are not as high, then the match doesn't have to be a WarGames match. It can be the traditional, like what you said.
We completely. I think we are all three of us are aligned. But my only thing is, right, has Rhea returned too early?
I think so.
I think so. Actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
I mean, the entire plan was to have Rhea versus Liv anyway, right? But I think because she got injured, and then the last thing you want is for her to re-injure or worsen her injury, no?
Yeah. Let her take the year off. She deserves it, man.
Yeah, or a few months come back during the Royal Rumble, the pop she gets at the Royal Rumble, I think will be amazing. But now, because you want to do this WarGames match, you have to have Rhea Ripley. If not, it makes no sense.
Not gonna lie, I dig the whole Cody Rhodes undashing look though. I mean,
With the mask. and everything.
it's pretty dope. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the build up for the women's match, and I feel like it's just, even though all of them have their own storylines, but it's just so random. Like suddenly now Nia Jax is like teaming up with like people that she has no connection with,
no history with, right?
Yeah.
I am kind of, I'm done with the whole Nia Jax Tiffany Stratton. When is she going to cash in sort of thing? Like, to me, this has been something that has dragged out a little too long. I know they just added the Candice LeRae wrinkle where Candice is trying to buddy up to Nia.
Yeah,
but
you know what's the most nonsensical whole thing about this match?
What?
Didn't Liv Morgan and Nia Jax just had a feud
Yep.
at freaking Crown Jewel like last month?
Yeah, exactly.
And then now they're teaming together just because they're all heels.
It's okay to have unwilling partners because they're forced into this match. But yeah, it would have made more sense. It didn't deserve a cage, essentially.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you think about it, wouldn't Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley be aligned because they have a common enemy?
Oh yeah, exactly.
In Liv Morgan, exactly. See, you guys make so much more sense.
Yeah, this is one of those cases where they are handicapped or they're hamstrung by the rules. Oh, the men have one, so the women must have one. It's like, remember Hell in a Cell where you had to have Hell in a Cell because the pay-per-view is called Hell in a Cell. So that's why I'm definitely petitioning for one WarGames match, one traditional Survivor Series match. So next year, when the women do have a much stronger blood feud, then they can have the WarGames match and the men don't need to,
Zayden is asking all the right questions though. So who took out Jade Cargill?
So I hope it doesn't become a who ran over Steve Austin thing where they're like, okay, we need to write her off the show first. We'll figure out who later.
I don't know. Okay, I do hope. Okay, but to your point, right, I do hope the women have like a Stone Cold level storyline. So like while the Bloodline is running and doing its own thing, the women division have like a big ass storyline that's kind of like a thread that runs through the entire roster.
But you notice that we've been talking about this match, right? Like, where's the meat of it in terms of like, what we're looking forward to storyline wise? It's not really there. It's a match that's happening. And
I don't even care. I don't even care who wins, to be honest. I don't know, babyface or heels, doesn't really matter.
This will kick off the show, I think.
Yeah, I was just about to say, do you think they'll open up the show with this?
Yeah.
Maybe to just get it out of the way. And you know who I would petition for? I'm gonna just throw a random left field choice. I want Raquel to be the last woman surviving.
Make her look good.
The only way this match can have served some sort of purpose is it actually help build some stars from the women, elevate some of the women, and I feel like either Tiffany surviving, either Raquel, one of those people that deserves that.
Well,
that
it's
push,
only one pinfall or submission, right? It's not elimination style.
Yes, it's only one pinfall because it's a WarGames match.
So you're saying like she stands triumphant in the middle of the ring, everyone else like,
Yes.
Okay, then there's the Money in the Bank wrinkle as well. Tiffany Stratton, does she cash in the cage? Because, I mean, you will have to imagine that everyone will be like destroying each other, right? Io Sky does some crazy dive. Do we finally see Tiffany cash in? Or is it too late?
Honestly, I don't care. But if the moment happens, it's going to be a great moment.
Yeah. I think they've jumped. I mean, they waited too long for Tiffany. I feel.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean,
I mean, to me personally, right, I don't really enjoy Tiffany as a character.
Mm,
mm,
And it's like what you said about the Io Sky dive, right?
mm.
I just need to say I'm very over. I've never enjoyed the dive sport where everybody stands
Yeah, and
and to
wait.
catch
that
that. And
weights.
I
Yeah,
say this as a person who has done that in matches where I have to stand to catch the guy
yeah,
jumping.
yeah,
It's so dumb, right?
It's like I never enjoyed it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. So, that being said, yeah, Raquel last survivor for me, winning the match for the team. That's what I will go for. Those are predictions. What about you guys?
Ooh, it's tough. Again, like,
I'm
yeah,
inclined to agree, but okay. So one thing I want to say that where do you guys think Dominic Mysterio will get involved in this match? Because I think he has to.
right.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Um,
Dominic. I don't know.
I don't
Dominic.
like. It feels like very forced if you put Dominic here.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole match feels forced, right? You might as
Yeah,
well commit to it.
Good point. Good point.
exactly right.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think maybe if anything, like what could happen is Dominic comes out as Liv and Raquel are getting beat up, and he just takes them and says, "We don't need to win this match. This means nothing to us," and they leave.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
that's how So I'm gonna call the face team, Rhea Ripley's team wins. They beat them down 5v3 at the end,
Mhm,
and that's where Tiffany Stratton cashes in.
Ah, interesting.
Mm.
Okay. What about you, Prabhu? What's your call?
Uh, I'm actually gonna go. I think Liv Morgan Giroux. I think Liv has a ton of momentum right now.
Mhm.
And the thing is, right, if Rhea wins, then she has to keep showing up on the shows. And I personally, as injured as she is, right, I would rather she take time off and come
Yeah.
back at 100%.
Agreed.
Mm.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, this is actually one of the more non-consequential matches of the
Yeah.
of the night.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the real one, bro.
Oh my god, the main event!
The main
The main
event.
event.
Okay.
Acknowledge Fias.
Acknowledge fears. Question, is
Yes.
The Rock freaking gonna show up again? And second follow-up question, is he gonna show up and do nothing?
I mean, if he shows up, he's gonna market Moana too, lah. But
Direct
other,
one, maybe.
yeah, I mean, it makes sense for him to do that. But no, I honestly doesn't need the Rock, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. The story
Especially-
is strong itself
Yeah,
already.
now
So
you
good.
have CM Punk as well. There's so much layers right now. Like, I do not want the Rock to kind of like kill the vibe of my new guy, my new favorite guy, bro.
Who?
I got tickets.
I got tickets. Solo.
Yeah, Solo,
okay.
my guy.
Is this where we see Heyman turn? Or are you guys not convinced that he's turning, even though he dressed like Solo?
I do not know.
No?
I do not know.
Well, that's the good thing, right? If you can't call it, that's a good thing.
I don't. Yeah, that's the thing. I can't. But what? Yeah, one thing that Gianna forever, bro. Who's Gianna forever? I'd love to meet you.
Seth?
Seth Rollins. That's who I care about most about this match. Even though he's not even in the match,
Yeah.
I wanted to see what Seth Rollins does.
Okay,
in this
so
match.
he's gonna interfere and cost CM Punk, right? Because he's had that feud,
Or Bronson Reed. Don't forget.
Oh yeah, or maybe he comes out to mess with Bronson Reed, but inadvertently costs CM Punk, and that's how they built towards WrestleMania, lah. Seth versus CM, lah.
I feel that could be a
I think it
case.
could be a case whereby the two legal guys in the ring are Bronson and Punk, and that's what causes Seth to come in and interfere.
Oh, but how does he interfere? Because isn't the cage supposed to be locked up? Do they have to do?
He'll find the way. He'll Phoenix splash into the cage. I don't know.
I mean, they have a lot of beef in there. Could we see a cage, smash through the cage spot?
Oh,
They've done
I
that
would
before.
like that. I would like
They
that.
have Bronson Reed. They have Jacob Fatu. Like, they have more than enough beefy guys to go through the cage.
Bro, my goal, and I'm trying to manifest this to happen this Sunday. I want Bronson. Do you see what I put on social media about Rikishi from the top rope, from the top of the cage?
Oh my god!
Can you imagine a Bronson Reed tsunami from the top of WarGames? I think everyone's just gonna die.
Yeah, I'm like trying to think. Has he done that in NXT before? I'm sure. I feel like he's that guy who would do something crazy like that.
Yeah, I don't think he has.
To that end, Jacob Fatu climbing the cage, doing a moonsault off the cage.
Yeah, I think that I can imagine that happening for sure. So like, those are the two big spots that I think should happen to make this event memorable. But in terms of the storyline threads, I would love. Okay, so the B storyline is the whole CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, right? But the A storyline is like, can Roman Reigns get all his OG bloodline to coexist?
Yep.
Sami Zayn, all that. And will Solo and Jacob get the victory to keep Solo strong, because you see, Solo, as big as he has been in this year in terms of like the match profiles, he hasn't had that big victory. I mean, he has had some big victories in Bad Blood, for example, but like,
Yeah.
I just feel like he's missing that signature thing that will push him to the next level. So I don't know. That's for me.
Yeah. And I think, right, on your point, Solo should win this match and be the last man standing. Because if they end the feud right now, right, where does Solo go from here? He's kind of in just treading water by himself if he loses now.
Agreed. So and I honestly want the new bloodline to stay strong all the way to WrestleMania, because that will help herald the return of the Galactus of this whole situation, which is The Rock, right?
Yeah. So okay, I'm gonna call for Paul Heyman's turn here, so that Solo and the new bloodline can win. And then you'll have the CM Punk, Seth Rollins stuff shenanigans probably midway through the match. That's how you eliminate CM Punk from the entire situation. And maybe Bronson Reed, right?
Okay.
So that's my call. Just to throw another wrinkle out there, I don't think it will happen, but what about a certain professional hater that we haven't seen in a while? Do you think that Drew McIntyre could be like, hey, CM Punk, you're back, Okay, I see you. Let me kick you in the face. Huh?
No,
chance?
Do you want to go back to that storyline though? I feel like it wrapped up really well.
I don't, but I think it would be a huge like pop moment if he did make his return and nobody expected it.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm just curious to see how Roman factors in all of this. You know, he's the center of the universe. Let's be clear, right?
Yeah.
But everything else is kind of happening around him, but not through him. So what is that big Roman Reigns moment that's gonna happen at WarGames? You know,
bro, I'm sorry, I love you, and then he gets backstabbed by Paul Heyman. Let's go, bro. That's the
Paul Heyman gives him a super kick.
Bro,
sweet shin music.
I tell you already, I'm still disappointed Paul Heyman didn't come back in the bandana and the hoodie, bro. That should have happened last week.
Bro, the fact that he
Red Bull,
came, he dressed as Solo. They are in the Easter egg era, bro. It means something. And if it doesn't mean something, it means that they've trained us to look carefully into these things.
I mean, it's fun regardless, right? Okay, so come, let's do prediction time. Who do you guys think will win? Who do you think is gonna be the last man standing?
Like I said, new bloodline because of all the shenanigans, and Paul Heyman turns on Roman Reigns to give us a cliffhanger.
New bloodline for me, Bronson Reed doing a tsunami of the top of the cage. A CM Punk, Seth Rollins interaction for sure.
Yep.
And Roman somehow getting betrayed, but I do not know whether it's by Paul Heyman. Maybe it's too obvious, or it might even be CM Punk, or it might even be people that he's not aware of within his bloodline.
Do we need CM versus Roman yet? I don't think that's even in the cards, right? Because CM versus Seth
make Roman
is the
look
match.
Strong, man.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think the only thing or person that could hurt him is Paul Heyman. Hurt him in the heart. Not physical, emotional.
What about you, Prabhu? What about you?
I think, right, what I'm looking for is the new bloodline wins. Solo is the last man standing. Jacob Fatu has a great performance. Tonga Loa is the first man out.
Bro, I am waiting. Oh my god. I don't believe we forgot about our true tribal chief. I am looking forward to Tama Tonga making noises and Tonga Loa doing some weird shit with tables. Or some like,
I want him to give the best bump for reverse Hurricanrana ever. I just hope that happens.
Just fall on his back. Boom. And that is the correct bump.
Tonga Loa, yes. He goes for a dive on top of the cage, right? But then he falls back outside the cage.
Walao! No one lah. Hey, don't so bad. That one sounds dangerous, bro.
No. He will do funny stuff, but safe stuff.
Yeah, safe funny stuff. That's what I want to see.
You know, okay, I know what he will do. He will try to enter. Bro, he will try to enter the WarGames cage, right? And then he slips, he gets caught up in the ropes a la Batista. That's what's gonna happen.
Or he cannot open the door. For whatever reason, when he gets there, the door stuck. Cannot open.
Okay, yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Okay, Ken, sounds good.
Okay, but what I was gonna say was Tonga Loa first one out. But I think that there will be some CM Punk Roman Reigns dissension to look for, because they are not a well-oiled machine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole story, right? Like, even Jay is his own man. He comes up by himself. So that entire team is not a team.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I think the Punk Roman dissension might be what cost the new bloodline the match. And if there is a team disconnect between those two big personalities, right, it also allows them to have a reason to lose
Yeah.
without turning Paul Heyman on Roman Reigns.
Oh.
Agreed.
Also, you
agreed.
you don't
Right, so like if
see Paul turning.
Okay.
I think it makes more sense if the guy that Paul Heyman brings in costs them the match, which
Ah.
then strains the already strained relationship between Paul and Roman. You cannot just make up just like that. There needs to be a bit of a process to get there.
Yeah. Apparently on Friday they're having a meet and greet, the meetup between Punk and Roman. Bro, they're literally the main event. These two guys come and talk to each other.
The UFC weigh-in.
Yeah, they just come and have a chat. Like, I mean, you know you're doing things right when that is a highly anticipated segment. Like just two people talking, you know?
Yeah,
And
we
you
need to start selling tickets to people, let them watch us do the podcast live. Like we can make money that way.
Right, exactly. So, okay, there you go. That's Survivor Series. Guys, what is your anticipation rating out of 10? Like, how highly motivated are you to go and watch Survivor
10, bro.
Series? 10,
10
yeah?
as always. Let's go.
Oh my God.
Go. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, for me personally, there's a couple of matches in between I'm also looking forward to, but IC match, US title, and the main Survivor Series match, WarGames, that's 10.
What about you, Mr. Young?
Huh? What?
What about you? Like, in terms of your anticipation level, generally, like,
Yeah lah, 10 lah. I mean,
10. So we are all in agreement that it's going to be the most anticipated event of this year.
Let me put it this way. It's all hinging on the main event. Like the rest of the matches, don't get me wrong, I am looking forward to them. But if you remove all those matches and gave me a bunch of 205 live matches, I will still watch because of the main event. You know?
Yeah, fair enough. It's like Tyson and...
Paul and Tyson.
Paul and Tyson.
Oh, Divaralti, welcome back. She says, looking forward to a new champion at WarGames. You mean Shinsuke Nakamura, is it? Because we know you're such a fan of Shinsuke.
I think she's talking about Damian Priest.
I think she missed our entire dissertation about Damian Priest and why he's not going to win. I'm so sorry, Dave.
Hey, never mind. You can go back and listen. Don't worry about it. So there you go. That's our preview of Survivor Series. And of course, right after Survivor Series will be the Kick to the Gut Awards happening at the Grapple Max Wrestling Studio. I can't wait for that as well as we wrap up the year, not just in wrestling all around the world where we do our little year-end awards, but also celebrating all of Singapore wrestling.
Guys, take note, guys. As soon as this podcast ends, right, votings are gonna be open. So anyone who has bought a ticket, who is confirmed, we will send you guys a link, Google Form link, where you guys can vote for all the categories, including like Best WWE Superstar of the Year, Best AEW Wrestler of the Year. We're gonna have local categories as well. The only difference from this year to last year's categories is that instead of the Kick to the Gut Local Wrestler of the Year, we are going to have the Kick to the Gut Singapore Wrestler Top 20 list, where we'll be counting down the top 20 Singapore wrestlers in 2024 as voted by the Kick to the Gut community and our Patreon members as well. But if you guys weren't part of the Patreon this year, it's okay. You guys can still vote for the Kick to the Gut Young Boy Award for local rising star. So if you guys feel that there's a young wrestler, somebody who's really new into the career who deserves that shine, our reigning Young Boy Award from 2023 is here on the chat.
He's like, that's me. He's talking about me.
Bro,
yeah, it is me. Yes, it's me. Yes.
Yeah, you forgot because now you're such an OG, bro. That's why. You're no longer a young boy.
Yeah, I don't think I qualify for the Young Boy Award too, but it's great, man, because got to put the shine on the new guys coming up in the local scene.
Yeah. Okay, if you were to give us 3 names, one from each promotion that should be deserving of it, who should it be?
Ooh.
Come, let's go. Faster. Quick one.
Okay. SPW, I think is going to be. Can I put them together, Midnight Bastards, or just one?
Yeah, sure.
That's the team.
Okay, Midnight Bastards. If just one is either Mason or CBK, one of those two.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. Ring of Rebirth, I'm gonna give it to stuff. I'm gonna say Varun.
Okay, Varun. Still a young boy. I would agree.
Yeah. And for Grapple Max, Grapple Max is Simon. I'll give it to Simon.
Okay. Nice. Good choices. Yeah. So, guys, if you guys want to get involved right after this show ends this afternoon, you will see on our Instagram stories. We'll put it out on our socials. All the categories. Make sure you guys vote. We will tabulate it by this weekend, and we will announce the winners during this Sunday's Kick to the Gut Awards, we will also be unveiling the Singapore Wrestler Top 20 list, right?
Yes.
Yes, correct.
If you haven't gotten tickets yet, slide into our DMs. It's only $20. We'll settle the makan. But more importantly, come hang out and let's just talk about wrestling. Talk about what we love. Let us know why we are completely wrong about AEW.
Yes, for all of us, you guys who disagree about AEW, buy a ticket and tell us to our face.
Yes.
And we'll give you makan at the same time. So I mean, like, it's a win-win. So we'll feed you to talk shit to us about why we are so wrong about AEW. But yeah, so please do. So I think it's gonna be fun. Again, Survivor Series happening that morning. So we might even touch on and we are gonna do a live podcast there anyway. So
yeah, we're definitely going to cover a bit of Survivor Series reactions from the event. So once again, guys, if you haven't already gotten tickets, slide into our DMs, reach out to us, and we'll hook you up. Very quickly, once again, let's give a shout out to our sponsor of this podcast, Hasif_Captures. If you haven't already, guys, do us a favor. Help us out, like how he's helped us out this entire season. Drop him a follow on social media. He is an independent financial advisor. You can go meet him up for some free lunch, grab a day with Hasif. And the first meeting is never about selling, never about any of that. It's about the vibes. You're just going to chat, be it about your financials, be it about entrepreneurship, or dude is a proper gym bro. Look at his fitness stuff right there. You can talk about that with him as well.
Petition for Hasif to be the Young Boy Award for next year. Somebody scout him and get him to train and do a wrestling match one-off. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
There you
go.
To
be honest, I think he deserves it.
All right.
Yeah, so you know what to do. Probably do some of your influences, please.
That's right.
Okay,
Yes,
as of today, we are 60 or almost 70% of tickets sold. We have limited seats available left. So if you guys can confirm, let us know so we know how many packs to order for makan. So that's very, very important. So let us know soon, yeah?
Exactly. Once again, it's
Absolutely.
happening this
one more thing, I just
upcoming Sunday.
like to sweeten the deal a bit, right? Yeah, It's going to be at the Grapplemex Studios on a Sunday, right after Survivor Series. And the Grapplemex Studio, my intel tells me that it has a fridge full of beer. So if that incentivizes you, hey, please come on down, man. I know a lot of the wrestlers that have been nominated for the top 20. I know they love to have a good time, and we can all have a good time together at the Grapplemex Studios at the Kick to the Gut award show.
Yeah, I love the idea. I love the fact that it's fridge. Please bring a lot of ice because we're going to make sure there are drinks for non-alcoholic and alcoholic options. So let's do that as well.
Of course, yes.
Exactly. All right. Sounds fun. Okay, so there it goes. It's the season finale, guys. How you guys feel?
Feeling good. Putting a bow on the season. Honestly, I know we're going to talk a lot about Survivor Series. Technically not the last episode because we will cover so much on Sunday, right? But yeah, looking forward to 2025. Like we've talked about before, 2025 is going to be a huge year for pro wrestling once the WWE hits Netflix and is seen by millions.
Yeah, for sure. Once again, I want to thank you guys for the awesome work this year. I think I'm so proud of what we did for Singapore Wrestler Top 20 in terms of grading the events and I want to thank you, Yang. Thank you, Prabhu. Shout out to our OGs like Div, people, Irving, people who have been there and super supportive of what we do.
Nina as well, yeah.
Nina as well. I think LW Lion Wrestling's. Oh, but my brain is
Lion
City Wrestling Cult. Yes, my brain is not brain. Yes. So I love the fact that our scene is flourishing. More people are stepping up, doing content. More people are being involved in the wrestling portion and also the outside the ring portion. So people like Remus and all that. Want to give shout out to all these people. So as long as we keep working together, pushing in the same direction, great things is going to happen for local wrestling and WWE and AEW in 2025.
And of course, a big shout out to all of you who listen, Patreons, non-Patreon. We appreciate your time and effort joining us in the podcast, being letting us know what you think about what we talk about in the Discord as well. If you haven't already joined us on the Discord, what's up, Fias? He says, acknowledge Kick to the Gut. Bro, it's not the one. It's this. This is how you acknowledge Kick to the Gut. Yes, 2025 will be lit, Saleh. You are right.
Yo, Fias, come this Sunday, bro. I got tickets. I still got tickets.
He got tickets. Go get him. To hook you up with tickets. But okay.
Tickets.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see you guys on Sunday. If not, then we'll see you in the Discord or on our social media. But as always, it's been Mr. Young.
And it's for in the building. See you in 2025.
We need to figure out a tag for Prabhu lah. It's just the two of us.
Signing off. Maybe that's good.
Oh, I like that.
There you go.
Okay, let's try again. One more time.
It's Mr. Young.
And it's for in the building.
And this is the Silverback signing off.
Let's
I love it.
go.
I love it.